do the unit 6 fix, so that that one will be the last. If we are unable to even finish, I know that one, but I want to do unit 6 first, and then we will pick it from there. Yeah, so meal management at different stages of the life cycle. That is what we are going to do. I think last week and the ensuing weeks we've looked at meal planning, factors affecting meal planning, and importance of meal planning and all that. And once we are planning meals, we have talked about meal planning for the healthy group in the family, putting this together, bring this, let them eat to achieve optimum nutrition and all that. Now, in the family, we have some people that would say they are special or they are different. So we need to identify these people. We need to identify the characteristics of those people at the stages of the life cycle, and then plan and evaluate meals for these people at different stages. So once we are able to identify them and then know their characteristics and what they need, then we will be able to plan and evaluate meals for them. So if we are talking about meal management at different life stages, life starts from conception. So before a man or a woman decides to even get pregnant and start life, we need to know what they will need. And then I hope you can all hear me clearly.
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
madam.
Oh, that's good. So we need to know what to do. What are the risk factors if you are trying to get pregnant and then you don't have certain things in place? What will happen? Once we know them, we will be able to help ourselves, those of us that still want to get pregnant, or help our friends, our neighbors, and then even our children and grandchildren in future. So the course is for life. You learn for your exams and your quizzes, that's fine. But still, you should also try to understand some of the things so that you use it for your life. So let's zoom into today's business. We are talking about preconception. Preconception, that is before you even get pregnant. Optimal nutrition status prior to pregnancy ensures smooth pregnancy and healthy childbirth. So as you are preparing your body and your womb for a baby, it's only it's not always that you would set to yourself that you are planning your body and your womb for pregnancy. It looks like most of us, it just meet us on the way. But whatever it is, we are saying that it's better to set your mind to it and then you prepare your body for that. So conception in the midst of poor nutrition compromises the growth and development of the fetus, as well as the health of the mother. So whenever there is conception, whenever there is poor nutrition, especially at the preconception stage, we are saying that it compromises the growth of the fetus and the mother. Why? Why do you think that poor nutrition at conception stage will compromise the growth of the developing fetus as well as the mother? Why? Yeah, Becky.
Madam, please, I think that it's like you preparing for a visitor. So when your home is neat, everything is on point. When the visitor comes, the person will feel comfortable. So when, as a mother, you don't plan or you have a poor nutrition and then waiting for the baby, you yourself, after the conception, the baby has to get some kind of nutrient that will help the fetus to develop very well, and you yourself too, in order for you not to become malnourished. So when you prepare yourself well, including your nutrition, it helps you, the mother, to get the required nutrients that you will need, and then also the baby that will come for for the fetus to also develop very well, in order to avoid those kind of diseases that happens to children. Madam, please, that's how I think.
Okay, that's all.
Hello, madam.
Yes, Hagar.
Please, I have a question.
Okay.
During that first 3 months, some of the women also does not have appetite for any food
We've
at
not
all.
got there, Hagar. We are at preconception. We will get there. We will get there. Here is preconception. We are not at conception. We are not in pregnancy.
Okay, okay. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, so preserve it. Okay, reserve it for that stage.
Yes, madam.
All right, so let's look at risk factors to preconception. So don't confuse the two. This is pre, before you get pregnant. Both high and low amounts of body fat are related to decreased fertility in both males and females due to alteration in hormone levels. Both high and low amounts of body fat are related to decreased fertility in both males and in women due to alteration in hormone levels. So it means that if you want to get pregnant as a man, even before you can be able to get your woman pregnant, you need a good amount of fat in your body, because both high, if the fat is too high or too low, it can cause alteration in hormone levels. So fat cells, what does it do? The fat cells produce estrogen, androgen, and leptin, which affects reproductive processes. So whenever you hear of estrogen and androgen, what comes to mind? What are they? What kind of hormones are they? We have a lot of hormones. We have estrogen, androgen, we have dopamine, we have cortisol, we have so many hormones. But whenever you hear of estrogen, androgen, what comes to mind? Have you heard of such hormones before, and what are their functions? That we are saying that fat cells produce them. So what are they? What are these hormones?
Madam, please, the question again.
I'm saying that when you hear of estrogen and androgen, what are they? These hormones, what do they do? What are their functions in the body? What are the functions of estrogen and androgen in the body? They are hormones. What do they do?
Madam,
Yes, Francis.
yes, the Francis. Estrogen is a female sex hormone, if I'm not mistaken, and it helps in development of female reproductive organ. It also helps maintain pregnancy. And androgen is the male sex hormone. It helps the growth of male reproductive organs and help in the sperm production, the androgen. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. So we are saying that fat cells produce these organs. So it means that you need good amount of fat. So whenever people are saying, I don't eat fat, I don't want to get fat, so I don't want to eat fat. You need fat. That is the reason fat is part of nutrients. Even though it is bad, fat is like fire. Fat is like fire, a good servant but a bad master. Or so you need to learn how to manage your fat levels intake, because for even your reproductive organs to or for reproduction to take place,
Well,
you need good amount of fat. Sarah, you need good amount of food.
St. John. Masala. Okay. Yo, bye bye. Yo.
Oh, yesterday. Oh, Missy.
So these hormones are elevated in women by high levels of body fat and reduced by low levels of body fat. So the amount of body fat that you have, not too much, not too much. Good amount of fat helps to elevate your estrogen levels. That's why people that are extremely malnourished, those that are doing the anorexia and that kind of stuff, their condition is amenorrhea. They are not able to menstruate because once there is less body fat in your system, you not even be able to menstruate. Your production of the eggs, because the estrogen is part of the hormones that helps in the production of that, it ceases. In obese men, testosterone is lowered and leptin is increased. So when men too, they are too obese, their testosterone level is lowered. Asamoah, what is the function of testosterone? It's a hormone. Asamoah, what is the function of the testosterone? You have testicles, I don't. So you should know the function of the testosterone. Asamoah, and what is the name of the other man we have on the platform? Is it Fuseni or is it Fuseni? Is he here?
He's the person called Asamoah.
No, Asamoah is different from Hussein. Asamoah, you can hear me. I'm saying, what is the function of the testosterone? Yes, Sarah. Sarah.
Please, madam, it helps in the development of the male reproductive organ, their facial hair. It helps when they reach the adolescent stage, the deepening of their voice, and then the other characteristics that comes with the male. Thank
Okay.
Madam,
Yes.
that's also increase their sexual desire in men and help them to make sperm so that they
Mm.
can father a baby.
Okay, so it helps in sperm production. That's good. Okay, so we are saying that in obese men, this particular hormone is rather decreasing. What is this hormone, the leptin? What does it do that it is rather increasing? What is this hormone? Search for it. What is it, and why is it rather increasing in male obese men? Search for it.
Honestly, I searched for it and it says it's the hormone that helps regulate the body weight, appetite, and energy balance.
Yes. So this particular hormone, everybody has it. It helps us to regulate our appetite and then our energy balance. It is the hormone that sends some signals to the brain to tell us that we are hungry and we are. The more you are becoming obese, the more this hormone increases, and it's making you eat more. So we are saying that in obese men, instead of their testosterone to be increasing so that they can be producing enough sperm and other stuff, it rather decreases. And once the testosterone is decreasing, you see that they will start to develop, their breasts will start to be growing big, their buttocks and other things, and they will be looking feminine. Yes, once that thing starts to lower, that is what will happen. And once it lowers, their leptin also increases, making them eat more, have more appetite, and imbalance in their energy metabolism. So to help reduce the fertility of women and men, there is the need to exercise and sustain normal reproductive function. So if I don't know if you've really encountered this before, people that are really big, most of the women that are really big, like obese, they really have issues with reproduction. I don't know if you've really seen, they usually have this a little bit of hormonal imbalance, especially their menstruation is not really that regular. I don't know if you know people like that of experience. Fat people usually have irregular menses and then a bit of hormonal imbalances in them. Have you encountered somebody like that? Have you experienced anything like that before? Yeah. If not, we let's continue. Maybe. Yeah. So weight loss that exceed 10 to 15% of the usual weight in normal weight women decrease estrogen, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. So we are saying that if you lose weight, if you are trying to conceive and you lose weight about 10 to 15% of the usual normal weight. So let's say if we check your BMI and instead of it to fall between 18.5 to 24.0 and it is maybe around 15, 16, you've reduced so much weight. It decreases the estrogen luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormones. You know, you need these follicle stimulating hormones. You can find out the function of these hormones. Yes, quickly search and then you come back and tell me. What's the function of the estrogen luteinizing hormone and what is the function of the follicle? So if you are a woman and then you lose weight so much, the reduction in this hormone leads to a condition such as amenorrhea and anovulatory cycle. So that is why I talked about those who are practicing when we are doing eating disorders. I taught you. So I remember when we were talking about the anorexia nervosa, we said that this condition is very prevalent in them. Because of what they are doing, they are skipping meals, they are not getting adequate fat, so they don't menstruate. Because this estrogen luteinizing hormone are supposed to help us to menstruate and then regulate our hormones. The follicles are also there to help in our ovulation processes, prepare a better place for the child to lay in the womb and attach itself properly to the womb and all that. So if you are not taking enough fat and you want to lose weight because of that, you are not eating well and you want to conceive, those are some of the things that you are going to go through. So you need to understand these things so that when you are recommending meals for people at this stage, and even the person is maybe a young girl and is still thinking of, I don't want to get fat, I don't want to get fat, I don't want to do this, you tell the person that, look, you need good amount of fat in order for you to prepare even your womb for the pregnancy. Weight loss between 10 to 15% of the normal in men affects fertility and reduces sperm viability and mobility and stop sperm production after losing 25% or more. So men too, if they lose so much weight, it affects their fertility and they reduce the sperm viability. So the sperm may be there, but the sperms are not viable, they are not healthy. Then the sperm motility, you see that the sperm cannot even move. So the sperm should be there. It's not about just having the sperm there. No, the sperm should be there. It should be able to move, at a swim, and then they should be able to be enough. The number of the sperms that you need to. So, and sperm production stop after losing 25% or more. So if a man loses 25% or more weight, that one too, their sperm production stops. This is a serious issue. So when you see a lanky man that lacks good amount of fat and has lost weight, not lanky as in genetically lanky, but healthy. But if it is lankiness as a result of poor diet, it means that these men's fertility affect. So sometimes when there are issues about fertility, we are quick to think that it is the women's issue. It's unfortunate that even in our lecture, it's only 2 men. How can we project these things for them to know that fertility issues is not only associated with women? It could even be that the man is not eating well and the sperm that he is producing is not even viable. The sperm is there. He could see the semen comes out of sex, but the sperm in it is not viable to even move to go and fertilize an egg. So that is that about so let's look at diet and fertility. Somebody will ask, does diet has any relation with fertility? Yes, diet has a correlation with fertility. Diet has a relationship with fertility. If you want to be fertile, you need to eat. Dietary components impact fertility. Excessive consumption of fat, excessive consumption of fat in women lead to amenorrhea and menstrual dysfunction. So low consumption is bad. Excessive consumption too is bad. The iron status of women prior to pregnancy is related to fertility and pregnancy outcome. So the iron status, how much of iron that is in you, also contribute to your fertility. Low iron levels in women during pregnancy results in iron deficiency anemia, which results in low birth rate in their infant. Women who consistently eat plant-based foods, low fat, high fiber diet without meat tend to have lower circulating estrogen levels, and that's are more likely to have irregular menstrual cycle. So those that are saying, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to eat meat, I'm only eating plant-based, I'm only eating vegetables and all these things alone, they are saying that they are likely to have lower circulating estrogen levels, and thus they are likely to have irregular menstrual cycle. Because for your menstrual cycle to be very regular, if you are here and you don't really have regular menstrual cycle, check what we are saying. Check if your iron levels are okay. It's either check if you are not too fat, or check if you are not less of weight. You check some of these things that we are talking about and see if maybe the problem is with you or it is more medical. Because once your diet is regular and you have all the right nutrition, you should really have regular menstrual cycle. It should come regularly, it should end regularly for you. That is one thing about diet that I can assure you, unless there are some other medical reason. If not, once you eat well, your menses should come regularly. All right. So that is that the relationship between diet and fertility. Do you know that even okay, let's move on. If you take folic acid, if you start taking folic acid, if you want to even conceive and you start taking folic acid, it helps to improve your chances of getting pregnant. Do you know that?
Yes, please.
Uh-huh.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, so you should know that diet has a relationship with fertility. So if you take foods that are rich in folate, it even increases your chances of getting pregnant. So vegetarian diet that are very low in fat and lack iron and high intake of fiber, soya, caffeine, and alcohol. Lower iron levels in women during pregnancy result in iron deficiency anemia, which results in low birth rate in their infants' mortality. So if you have low iron levels during pregnancy, you are likely to have iron deficiency and then low birth rate. Iron deficiency before pregnancy often results in preterm babies. So normally people that have low birth weight, their children's when they come, their weight too small, and then sometimes with the preterm, they are not able to develop up to the 9th month. Some are as a result of iron deficiencies during pregnancy or at the preconception stage. Then high levels of caffeine, that is 300 milligram per day or more, taking from coffee, tea, soda in women reduce fertility and thus it delays conception. So one of the reasons I don't like coffee is when I knew about this. Whenever when I was pregnant, I never took anything that contained coffee. Coffee is good. Coffee is good. Nobody is saying that coffee is bad, but when you take in a lot of coffee, something that contains caffeine, coffee, some of you, when you are brewing your tea, remember the tea contains caffeine or tannin. You brew it so much, then you'll be drinking these fuzzy drinks and stuff. They all reduce fertility and then they delay conception. If you are here and you want to get pregnant and you take any of these things, you stop for a little and let's see. Just stop these things. Alcohol decreases estrogen and testosterone levels, disrupting menstrual cycle. So if you are a woman and you are looking to also conceive, you need to take notice of your alcohol intake because it also decreases the estrogen production. Alcohol decreases estrogen production. Low zinc levels in the diet of males are associated with decreased semen volume and testosterone
Madam,
level. Yes.
please, madam, you were saying cafe have effect on female if they want to conceive. What about the male? Too much of taking in cafe, does it also have effect on male?
Yes. Too much of everything is bad. Too much of everything is bad. But I think it is the females delay in conception that is well known. But for caffeine, it shouldn't really be taken too much. It's good. It also has its benefits because it really releases the energy hormones that makes you alert and then gives you that sharpness to work and all that. But still, you need to be careful with that. Low zinc levels in the diet of males are associated with decreased semen volume. So if you are preparing meals for men who wants to conceive, it means you have to give them foods that contains a lot of zinc. Because if their diets are low in zinc, it reduces the semen volume and testosterone levels. They need so you see that after sex, the semen will be too small. The volume it's small. It should be a lot so that it will be able to carry the sperm to the eggs. So low zinc diet has decreased. So these are the relationship. So when you are asked what's the relationship between diet and fertility, is these are some of the things that a diet rich in zinc can lead to increase this. A diet low in this can lead to this. A diet high in maybe iron can do this and that. That is what we are trying to talk about. So, and you should know so that when you are planning meals for these people, so when you are asked to plan a meal for a person who is trying to conceive, you have to make sure that the food that you choose has these nutrients that we are talking about in them. and your reason for choosing them, you should justify why you chose these people, you chose these things. Okay. Any questions so far? If not, let's continue. Zinc also play important role in sexual organ development in males. So zinc is one of the male-loving minerals. So let's look at some foods that contain zinc. Since we have been mentioning zinc, you did macro and micronutrients in applied nutrition just last week or last 2 weeks. You know, minerals. What are some of the foods that are very rich in zinc, so that you, when you are planning meals for your partners, you include them, because we now know that zinc plays a very important role in males' sexual organ development.
But in plant source, you can get it in the whole grains.
We can get it in the whole grains. What else? Yeah, we can get it in crabs and mushrooms. Okay, Anita, I've seen it. It's also it's very common in seafoods like oysters. Oysters. Oyster, ni chi ni adode, right? Yeah, adode. It is also very good in lobsters, shrimps, seafoods, seafoods mopa. And when it comes to the meat, it is in the organ meat, that the liver, the kidneys, and then all that. So when you are asked to prepare a meal for somebody like this, or if you are preparing a meal for somebody with this in mind, then you know these are some of the foods that you choose for the person, so that the person will get whatever they need. Sperms are basically made up of high concentration of polyunsaturated fatty acids. Have you seen sperms? They are basically made up of high concentration of polyons. That is why sometimes some women, and I don't know whether it is a myth or it's true, that sperms makes women look beautiful. It nourishes women because the sperm is made up of a lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids and proteins. So if that person who is releasing this polyunsaturated fatty acids and protein, it means you need to give him foods that are very rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, so that they can be able to make the sperm more healthy and more fertile. So that is the reason preconception nutrition is very important, so that the man will get enough sperm to produce. And then it's not about the getting the enough as in the number. The sperm should be healthy, the sperm should be viable. So I always say that if you don't know so much about nutrition and fertility, that is where you marry and you let your in-laws come and insult you or be on you, the woman, because issues are not happening and they think it is you. Most of the issues that are happening are from the men. But because all the time they are probably able to ejaculate, they think that is all. No, the sperm should have good volume, it should be viable, it should have motility, it should be able to move, it should also be very rich in nutrients. So when we are preparing meals for these people in our family, we need to make sure that we include all of these things for them before they can have healthy sperm. So let's move on. So preventive measures, nutrition. Women who take iron supplements and plant sources of iron tend to be 60% less likely to develop ovulatory fertility than women who do not. So all
Madam,
the things, yes.
madam, please, you are saying something concerning yours. So how do you know that your sperm has uh, a good or you have a strong or a good sperm as a male? How do you know? If there is any
They check,
characteristics or quality.
they check at the hospital. You can't use your eye to see. They check at the hospital. They can check, they can do the sperm count. If it's not something, it should be something millions. You should be, when during one ejaculation, you should have like about 6 million sperms before you can be able to fertilize. So they can check the mobility, how they are even healthy to move. These are all things that they do at the labs. It's not even expensive. But as someone, your brothers will not go and do it because they think that by nature they are fertile by nature. So your brothers will not go and do. So now when you are talking with your boys, you tell them that it's not always that the fact that you ejaculate means you are fertile. The sperm may come, but they may not even be able to move or swim. So you need to go and check. Once you check, there are things the drugs they will give you, foods that you just eat, and then you get the mobility for it to move. Why? So
Yes,
prevention.
madam.
Women who take iron supplements and plant sources are more. So when you are asked what should you do to increase your nutrition, it means that you need to take more iron supplements and plant sources of iron. Then people also take folic supplement. So like the folic acid that we talked about, you start taking it. Regular consumption of vitamin C rich foods and vegetables along with plant sources of iron. Iron fortified cereals and lean meat help to improve the iron status in the body. So these are some of the ways to prevent or increase antioxidants such as selenium, beta carotene, vitamin E and C protect sperm DNA from oxidative damage and promote normal sperm number, motility, and function. So sperm motility and function. So the men, their foods should be rich in antioxidants. So day to day can be taking some supplements and then it will help them. Vitamins from either sunshine or fortified foods may improve sperm content in men with poor vitamin D status. So anɔpa area na yɛde nkwalaa no kɔsi mu no mmarima no nso ehia ama mo. Nti you should get enough vitamin D to get good sperm count. Supplementation with 10 milligram of zinc or more per day reverse zinc related infertility and sexual maturation problems in male over time. So if you and your husband are trying to conceive, you are here and you are listening to me, as you are taking folic acid every day one, let him also take zinc supplements every day and see. Probably there are some things that are related to his sexual maturation problem. So these are some of the things that we know that minerals can do. Then you also include a lot of these foods that we've talked about in your diet and his diet, and then you pray to God and it will work. That is it. Lifestyle modification. So these are the nutritional ways to help. Then when we come to the lifestyle modification, we are saying that moderation of fat intake. You shouldn't take too much and then too less. It should be very moderate so that you can get good amount of fat for your estrogen levels for the females, and then the testosterone for the males. Limit alcohol intake. Alcohol and pregnancy is not a good thing. If you take alcohol and you really want to get pregnant, or you are in pregnancy, you limit alcohol intake. Exercise to burn fat. If there are too much fat cells, you need to exercise. Then limit caffeine intake. So these are all lifestyle modification. Then adequate rest and sleep. Whenever you are anxious or nervous, pregnancy doesn't come. If you really want to get pregnant, limit your anxiety levels and then you rest. Forget about it. Eat well and then you pray it will come. Now let's go to nutrition for pregnancy. Now we have finished the preconception, what you need to do if you want to. Now you are into it. So those of you that are pregnant, this is for you. Now we are pregnant. We are all pregnant. What are the risk factors? Insufficient folate intake increases the risk of embryonic development of neural tube defect. Whenever you are in pregnancy, this is the most important thing in your life: folate, vitamin B9. If you have insufficient intake of it, you stand at the risk of putting your child to embryonic development of neural tube defect. That is the neural bifida. So you need to check it. Excessive vitamin intakes increases the risk of fetus developing facial and heart abnormalities. So the fact that we are saying you should also take vitamins doesn't mean that during pregnancy you should take it excessively. Because if you take it excessively too, the fetus may develop some facial hair. And then there might be some heart abnormalities. That is why they have a prescribed milligram or microgram you are supposed to take in a day. Don't overtake it. Everybody take one of either, is it I even have folic acid. Is it 5 milligram a day or 10 milligram a day? Yeah, so what I have here says that you should take 400 microgram. Yeah, so that is like 5 milligram a day. That is folic acid. I always take folic acid. Sometimes I forget, but sometimes whenever I remember, it's always on my table to take. It's good for women. Iron deficiency in early pregnancy increase the risk that children
Hello,
experience.
madam.
Yes, Hagar.
Please, a health worker also informed me that when you take folic acid, you should add that multivitamin capsule to it. That's
So
small. You add it to the folic acid.
what is the purpose of taking it? Is it during pregnancy or when you don't have any issue?
When even when you are not pregnant, like as you were saying, you have been taking folic acid daily. The person said you can add the multivitamins to the folic acid.
So she said you can add, but I don't want to because I will eat fruit.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
You get what I mean. Sometimes these health workers, as I said last week, I don't know whether it is this your class or my other class, they make their generalizations because they think people do not know what they are doing. You don't know, so for them it is their job to help you. But as I said the other time, if you really want to get vitamin C and there is orange there, why would you go and buy calipo? So they're saying, oh, buy these multivitamins and take and add. But if you make a conscious effort that within the week, I'll drink 2 oranges, At least I will eat a pineapple in the within a week. I will eat a little pineapple. I will eat some banana or some mangoes within the week. You are good to go. You are good to go. Yes, it goes with it because most people don't eat fruits, so they don't get the vitamins. They are malnourished. So it's better it goes hand in hand with the multivitamins to help you achieve optimum utilization of it. That's why. That's why even for pregnancy, it is compulsory that the once you pass the first trimester, they add the multivitamins to it for you. Whether you are eating fruit or not, it is compulsory that they add it for you because that one is very important. But once I am not pregnant and I'm taking the folic acid because of its benefits in woman development, I won't take the multivitamins because most of the multivitamins too makes you eat a lot, and I don't want to eat a lot.
Madam, and these days too, there are some multivitamins. They even contains the folic acid already. So
Yes,
sometimes if you are not careful, you'll be taking
double.
things over.
Mm. So when you are buying it, you have to read on it. Otherwise, taking double too is no good. Okay. Iron deficiency in early pregnancy increase the risk that children experience impaired mental and physical development. People who are really um, malnourished, they don't iodine deficiency and iron deficiency during pregnancy. It has a lot of effects on the child. After akra no benyin no na okɔ school almost na dia na adwen ne tie wu. You may not understand. It is as a result of the mother's nutritional condition during pregnancy. So, if during pregnancy you don't eat well, the child can get some impaired mental health, and then physical development may not function so well. So you need to eat. You need to eat well. Now let's look at preventive measures. What should you do? Folate and iron levels can be improved in pregnant women if they consume folic acid fortified refined grains such as cornflakes and other cereal, breakfast cereals, vegetables and fruits. So folic acid and iron is very important in pregnancy. That's why when you are pregnant, it's compulsory. When you go, they give you, even if you don't have money, health insurance covers some for you. So there is no excuse that you don't have money. If even folic acid is the most cheapest medicine, I think the local ones are still even sold at 2 cedi, except maybe this the ones in the caps that are a bit expensive, like the value pack, and then those UK brands are quite expensive. But the local ones on the blisters are really not expensive at all. Nitrogen and protein are required in large quantities during pregnancy for synthesis of new maternal and fetal tissues. The recommended protein intake for pregnant women is 25 grams per day. So I know you've done some calculations in applied nutrition about energy requirements and gram requirements. So 25 grams per day will translate to how many calories? That's 100, right? Namoni.
Yes, please.
Madam, it's
Hmm.
100.
About 50 to 65% of total caloric intake during pregnancy should come from carbohydrates. At least women should consume about 100 75 grams carbohydrate to meet the fetal brain's need for glucose. Remember, the main fuel for the brain is glucose. So if you want your child's brain to develop very well as a pregnant woman, you need to eat about 175 grams of carbohydrate for fetal growth. High fiber foods generally provide a variety of beneficial phytochemical and a healthy measure of protection against constipation. So constipation during pregnancy is really difficult. So you have to make sure that when you are pregnant, your food contains a lot of fiber, Then zinc in pregnancy is very important because it serves as a cofactor for many enzymes, including those involved in protein synthesis. So when you are pregnant, make sure that you have a lot of zinc. You eat more of seafood, the oysters, the shrimps, the lobsters. You eat whole grains so that you can get good protein synthesis. Zinc deficiency also leads to growth retardation and malfunction. So these are the things that you should do when you are in pregnancy. Provide sufficient calories to support appropriate rate of weight gain. Include 600 milligram folate, of which 400 milligram of folic acid daily. So this is what you have to take when you are pregnant. You don't have to exceed it. Provide all essential nutrients at recommended levels of intake in the diet. Provide sufficient dietary fiber. When somebody is pregnant, they should eat a lot of fiber so that they don't get constipated. Include 9 cup fluid daily. They will say to stay hydrated. Exclude alcohol and limit coffee intake. That is what we are saying when you are planning a meal for a pregnant woman. So if you get a question that says that plan a day's meal for a pregnant woman, this is the marking scheme. We want to make sure that whatever you are planning for the pregnant woman contains these things. Everything is here, and then your reason, your justification for giving that pregnant woman that meal is solid. Otherwise, we will not give you the full mark. So somebody will plan a meal for a pregnant woman and there is no fruit juice or something. Meanwhile, they're saying the person should stay hydrated. So you should understand why you should do this and then why you should do that too. Now we started by trying to have sex. That is preconception, so that you get pregnant. Now we got pregnant. We got pregnant and we have delivered. So we have a baby now. So we are in infant development. What is it about infant development? Why is nutrition in infancy very important? Characteristics in relation to nutritional demand. The caloric need of a typical infant are higher per pound of body weight than of any other time of life. The average caloric need of infants in the first 6 months of life is 108 calorie per kilogram body weight. Yesterday, I know you calculated for protein and you knew how you calculate something per kilogram body weight, where protein is calculated at 0.8 per kilogram body weight. So we are saying that the caloric need of an infant from 6 months is 108 calories per kilogram body weight. So based on the child's body weight, whether he weighs 2.0, 2.5, 3 point something, then you multiply it by this calorie, then you know the amount of um, calories that that child needs based on growth in breastfeeding. From 6 to 12 months of age, the average caloric need is 98 kilocalorie per gram. 98 kilocalorie per gram. So when they are very young, like the infants, the first 6 months, they need 108 calories per kilogram of body weight. Then from 6 months to 12 months going to, they need 98 calories per kilogram of body weight. Factors that accounts for range of caloric needs of infants include the following: weight, growth rate, sleep wake cycle, temperature, climate, physical activity, metabolic response to food, and health status and recovery from illness. Let's try to explain this. We are trying to say that there are some factors that accounts for there are some factors that account for the range of caloric needs of an infant. So if an infant may need certain amount of calories, there are certain factors that account for it. And one is the weight, the growth rate, their sleep and their waking up cycle, their temperature and climate, their physical activity, metabolic response to foods, and health status and recovery from illness. Explain. Explain.
Madam, I
Yeah,
will say that
yeah.
sometimes if you know your childbirth weight, as we were saying that maybe from 6 months they need like 108 calories per their kg. So when you know this and you do your calculation, you know the amounts of uh, calories the child need, so that maybe the child may not be taking too much as his weight or her weight may take, and may not be taking too less too. And the growth rate, sometimes when kids, the more they are growing and they go about, like when they are small like that, they don't do any, they are crawling, they don't do much walking, running about like that. Their calorie intake may not be much like somebody who is running around, climbing and doing other stuff.
Okay. Yes, any other person? Yes, sir.
Okay, madam, I want to touch on the recovery from illness, the rate of recovery. There are some children who easily recover from illness when they fall sick, and others that it takes a much longer time for them to recover. Even when they recover, eating is even a problem. It takes a longer time for their appetite to come back. So when you know the where your child distance is, whether the child recovers quickly or doesn't recover quickly, it helps you to plan their meal, and then you know which meal to give to them to also support their growth. Thank you.
Yes, that's true. So the caloric need of infant, their weight. Remember, we even have to use their weight before you can calculate the caloric need. So if let's say we want to cook for, we want to, if you are asked the question to plan a meal for an infant, you first need to go and know the child's weight. That is, so let's say if the child weighs an infant who is between 0 to 6 months, let's say that child weighs 4.0 4.0 kg, because usually their birth weight is around 2 point something to 3. Okay, let's give that child maybe 4.5. Let's say the child eats well. So at 3 months or 4 months, the child weighs 4.5. If the child weighs 4.5, you have to multiply that by this 108. Then you know the total caloric need of the child. So per their weight, then we will know that she needs this amount or that amount. Then also their growth rate. Is the child growing quickly, faster, or the growth rate is slowing? Because the growth rate also has a correlation with their weight as they are growing fast. Some children, as soon as they are born, within some few months, you see them very plumpy, nice, growing. Some to their sleep and wake up cycle also influence what they are able to eat. Are they able to sleep? Do they sleep all the time throughout the day? Are they able to wake up and cry? The temperature and the climate, is it too warm, too hot, too cold? Also influence what they eat. And their physical activity, as you said, they are not doing anything. But even if they are not doing anything and they are sleeping, when they wake up, is the child able to move the legs, the hands, giggle, and do all that? Then metabolic response to food. When you give the child food, especially those from 6 months to 12 months, are they able to break the food down? Do they take in the food well? Do they vomit whenever food is given to them and all that? All these factors influence the amount of nutrient calories that the child can eat. So we are saying that protein needs from birth to 6 months on the average is 2.2 kg times the kilogram of body weight. So if you want to know how much protein that a child needs, you just multiply the child's weight by 2.2 grams of protein. Then you know the calories that you need. Then if you want to know the amount of protein that a child, an infant between 6 to 12 months also needs, it is 6.6 gram per kilogram of their weight. So you need to understand these things. Infants require fluoride for proper teeth functioning, but excesses discolors the teeth. So they need fluoride. When you buy their, usually when they are between 1 to 12 months, we don't usually, okay, from 12, from 6, you can clean their mouth with a little fluoride for proper teeth functioning, but you don't have to make it excess. Vitamin D is required for mineralization and proper bone formation. So vitamin D is good. Is it part of the supplements that they give them when you go for the weighing? Do they give them vitamin D? Then infant uses fat to supply energy to the liver, brain, and muscles, including the heart. So they need some little amount of fat. So once you start complementary feeding, that is from 6 months going, you should include healthy fat, especially some butter, some egg yolks so that they will get some few fat from it. There's nothing like oya kwalanti oni anwa omudi anwa. They need uh, good amount of fat to supply energy to their brains. So still on infant development, cholesterol intake should be limited in infants because they have a high need for it, and and it's related to metabolite in gonad, that is the primary reproductive organ, and are taste in the male and the ovaries of women, and then the brain development. So we are saying that reduce the cholesterol intake for them. The fact that we are saying they
Madam,
need, yes.
Madam, please. Last time I heard some people saying, or someone saying, egg. The white one is good for a child, let's say from 1 to 3 years or to 4 years, but the yolk is not good for those people. Is it true, madam?
Why? Now you're doing food and nutrition. So some of these questions, when you get, don't sit down to even come and ask me. Why do you think, from
Madam,
all that you've learnt about eggs up till this time, why do you think is the white that is good for them and then the yolk is not good for them? Asamoah. Mhm. Was it not last week that I was just telling you people to be careful about these generalizations that people make? Why, of all the things in the world, egg yolk that people are saying is not good for children? Mm,
please, colleague, help me.
they will not help you. Help yourself. You know the answer. Why would you even ask someone? Egg yolk.
Madam, I don't know. I don't know, please.
No, but of all the things in the world, egg yolk. Well, egg yolk can never be an issue for a child between 1 to 3 years. If a child is between 1 to 3 years and you don't give the child even eggs, at what age do you want to even start giving the child egg? Looking at the importance of egg, because for children in my home, I make sure that they eat 4 eggs at least, or even at least within the week, they eat 4 eggs in every week. So 7 days, 4 out of 7 days they eat eggs. 4 out of 7 days they eat eggs. So there's nothing wrong with eating eggs at all. And you eat it with the yolk and everything. At least 4 out of 7 days you should eat egg for a child. They need it. They need it for their brain development and then for their proteins and stuff. It's good. Sodium, yes, Francisca.
Madam, maybe sometimes only for health purposes. I have a colleague, his child doesn't take egg these days because like he was having some rashes problem bi. So like when they went for medical checkup, like it's being stated that he's allergic to it. Only that that's not even the yolk, even the whites. So he doesn't take it these days at all, but take other foods that will give him.
Yeah, so Francisca, if I get you, as you are saying, this is a peculiar health issue, just for one person. Anybody can have allergic to anything. So if the child is allergic to egg, is different. You can't use this to generalize that every child shouldn't take egg. No, so it's different. Some children are allergic to peanuts. Some are allergic to some kind of nuts, some fruits, some kind of meat or anything. So when it is health issue, is different. But if there are no health issues, there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving your child egg. There is nothing wrong at all in giving your child egg. It's one of the cheapest source of protein that you can give to your child. If they are allergic to it, don't force it. That's one thing about me. I don't like forcing people to take what they don't want to take, especially when they have a little health conditions related to it. So, sodium is important component of extracellular fluid and an important regulator of fluid balance. So, you need to include sodium in their diet for fluid balance. When there is fluid balance, it also even helps to regulate their body temperature. It's very important. Infants do not need salt added to food to maintain adequate sodium intake because they do not sweat as much as older children and thus do not lose much salt through sweating. So you don't have to purposely be putting in too much. So the little sodiums that comes naturally in their food and then in the food that you are preparing is fine. So do not add too much salt into a child's diet because they don't need it. Infants up to 5 months require,
Hello, madam.
yes.
Please, what about sugar? I have seen a nursing mother when preparing the baby's meal. She did not add sugar, and she said for the past 6 months the baby has not eaten sugar.
Mm, she may have her reasons. Okay, excess sugar.
Please, madam.
Yes.
She said the baby doesn't know doesn't have a taste, a sense of taste that the baby can detect it is sweet or it is bitter. So she
Mm,
doesn't add the sugar to the
mm,
milk.
mm, mm. It's true. Some people say that if you don't, whatever you use to train the child will get used to it. So for the lay people at home, they think that they don't want to give the child sugar so that the child will not get used to eating sugar. But from what you have learned about sugar and where we get sugar from, if you are giving the child morikoko, at the end of the day, it is still sugar in his or her bloodstream. So if it is the taste that you don't want him or her to get used to so that he will be eating a lot of sugary food in future, then that's fine. But scientifically, there is no proof that it will do anything. Everything is in what? Moderation. Some foods, when you give to them, they are very blunt. So a little sugar to um, boost it or improve the taste so that they can appreciate it well is better. But if you, as the mother, you think that you don't want your child to get used to sugary food, or you don't want your child to eat sugar and worry you with sugary food, so you don't want to give it to the child, then that's fine. But if for scientifically you think you don't want to give the child sugar because it will increase the child glucose level or sugar level, then probably don't give the child any carbohydrates, because whatever carbohydrates the child eats will also tend to be glucose. So I hope you get where I am coming from. So it's good if you don't want it that way, then that's fine. But some people, like some adults, will tell you that me, I don't put sugar in my cocoa, I don't put sugar in my this thing because of diabetes. I don't want to do this, I don't want to. When the person eat 3 balls of kinky, the person eats his normal fufu. There is no logic in that. Yes, Ibrahim. Ibrahim.
Yes, madam. And I just want to add more to what my sister is saying.
Mm,
Sometimes they believe that the child doesn't know the taste of the morikoko they are starting to give. So they decide to give the morikoko raw for some time. If the child starts to refuse the morikoko, then they will introduce a little amount of salt to change the taste, that it will also allow the child to develop some this thing appetite for the food again. Then for some time, if the child is starting to refuse the cocoa again, then they introduce sugar. That is how they introduce it gradually in order not the child to refuse the food early. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Anita.
Yeah, madam, good morning.
Good
So
morning.
I want to add more to what my sister just said. And with time to some of the kids are smart. They'll check or they know the color of the food that you are going to feed them. So with time, if you don't improve it, like you add fruit to change the color of the food itself, with time they will refuse eating that food. So always that's how they advise us that at the beginning, don't add this, don't add this. I don't think it has any bad nutrition thing to it, but it's a way that they are teaching us, their layman's idea that they are teaching us so that we can feed our children well. Thank you.
All right. I understand because as I'm saying, it is a Ghanaian thing that everybody is doing. Once you give birth, you also learn it. But for me, I never fed my child anything blunt. Never. I didn't feed anything blunt, like raw cocoa blunt like that. No. There is always a little sugar. A little sugar that's that if you've ever tasted breast milk before, if you've ever tasted breast milk, you yourself as a mother, you know that it is sweet. It has some sweetness in it. So why don't you use that same logic and then give the child that you are trying to introduce a food that tastes something like the breast milk? So if you have a little sugar, not too much sugar, just a little sugar, a pinch of salt, it's just like when you prepare oats and you don't even add salt to the oats. You see, the taste is different. But when you add a little salt to the oats, you don't even need to use too much sugar. But when you don't add salt to your oats and you want to put sugar in it, you put a lot of sugar before you get a good taste. So that is the logic that you should learn, that a little pinch of salt, a little pinch of sugar blends the taste. It's not be too sugary like you are eating the normal sugar for you, the adult or the other child. Then when you put in that their milk that you mix with the cocoa, it blends it in a way that the thing tastes like how the breast milk is tasting. Not exactly the taste. You can't get exactly the taste of breast milk, but you see, the breast milk has a little of salt in it, a little of sugar in it, some kind of lightness in it. So I don't see why you should take the old way of doing things that the child doesn't know the taste of anything, has not developed a taste bud, so I will not give the child sugar. At the end of the day, the child will grow and still eat sugar. Sugar is sugar. The child will grow to be 3 years, 4 years, and she would want a lot of sugar in the cook. Nobody here, those of you who have tried, you can't boast that your children, as at now, those that are 3 years, 4 years, can eat raw morikoko without sugar. Can you, any of you, boast of that? No. But if you are able to do like what I'm saying, a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt, and stabilize the taste, they can grow with that minimal taste till they grow. They can grow with that minimal taste. So sometimes let's leave something for those people to do. And then with the knowledge that we are gathering here, we too, you know how to also move with it. So for my child, there is nothing like blunt food. No, I don't do blunt food in my home. So my cocoa nim esichenim dada krano whenever no they are me. No, you need to give a little to push the taste up. Then when you put in those their milks, whether they're naan or Aptamil or whatever milk that you put in it, you see that you get a good blend. First, you taste breast milk and see, then you understand what I'm talking about. So you've let the child be accustomed to this breast milk for 6 months, and all of a sudden you want to give him or her something blunt, and you think he will take it. So it is just an old myth or old ideas that these are people have, that once we are going to school, we shouldn't also follow it bluntly. Nobody, no, none of you, those of you who have children and you have tried, you gave your child blunt morikoko, yes. Can any of you boast that after that your child is not used to sugar, your child doesn't like sugar, and they eat blunt morikoko? No. No, none of you can tell me that you have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old that eats cocoa without sugar. No, none of you. No, it can't happen. No, it will never happen. So don't do that. It's not good. It's not good. Get the child's food as a consistency, at a taste that they are used to, at a taste that you think it is good. When you taste it, you know that this food is tasty. And not say because they are children and they don't know, you are punishing them and giving them tasteless food. Somebody will even be preparing important for the child and will not put salt in it. That's why. What did the child do to you that there is no salt in his or her important? You can bring the taste to a very minimal salt taste, and then the child eats it nicely, and you say I will not put salt in it. It's not good. Don't do that again. Infants up to 5 months require 120 milligram and 200 milligram for 6 to 12 months. So you need to give them a little bit of salt, just a few. There is no specific recommendation for fat consumption for infants, especially infants who are breastfed, because breast milk provides 55% of its calories from fat, and this percentage is enough for infants. So we are saying that there is no recommendation for fat for them, because the breast milk contains a lot of fat, a lot of proteins for them. But when you are preparing their meals, you can add a little fat to it for them, especially the good butters. It helps them to grow up and grow well. Sometimes shea butter. I know there are some foods that you prepare for them. Like, let's say if you are preparing potatoes porridge for them, a little bit of potato, maybe a carrot. Those times I used to do the potato, carrot, either chicken breast or liver. Then you put a little salt. Sometimes I can even cut the green pepper into half. Not the bell pepper, I mean the normal green pepper we grind. I cut it, I take one and I cut it into half. Then I put it in, I add a little salt. It's either I'll put in margarine, butter, or even shea butter, a little scoop, half a teaspoon. Then you cook them together, then you blend. Then you give it to the child as if it's cocoa. So that is it. It's so you can have different blends. Some days you do yam, some days you do cocoa, ripe, very ripe plantain. Then you know that one too is sweet. So when you do the very ripe plantain, sometimes the very ripe plantain, I don't even add the chicken and other. So very ripe plantain with egg yolk and then the milk, the either the extra milk or the whatever milk it is. Then you give it to the child to eat. It's different variations. It's colorful. It will come out very yellow, colorful. The cocoa is sweet, so it is sweet. You don't add sugar again. So if you are in the Western North region, cocoa now plantain is in season, plenty cocoa. Boil some, add one yolk, mash it, put the either nan one and two, whatever the child is eating at that time to it. Beautiful. You don't need so much to impress a baby. Although zinc is present in whole grains, it is poorly absorbed, whereas animal products generally contain good amount of absorbable zinc. So if you want to give zinc, we are saying that Martha, 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 mute yourself. Martha, I just need to baby crown oil. So we are saying that although the whole grains have some amount of zinc. I remember when I asked of zinc, somebody mentioned whole grain first. They are poorly absorbed. It's not really a good a very good source. The animal sources are very good, especially the seafood sources. So we are saying that even though the whole grains are good, and usually the children we give them whole grain, but we should try to add those that are from the animal source to it too. There is no specific recommendation for fat consumption. We've talked about that already. So although vitamin D supplementation is also recommended because human breast milk does not supply the vitamin D in sufficient amount. So I think they give them vitamin D. I think they give them vitamin D supplement. We need to find out. The things that they put in their mouth, the vitamins that they put in their mouth when we go for the weigh-in, vitamin D should be part. Yeah, because they supplement them. Once infants start to eat baby foods, the percentage of fat in the diet drops because most baby foods are low in fat, and thus at this point, infants require fat as a concentrated source of calorie to support their high needs for calories. So as I said, when they start to eat the complementary food, when you start complementary feeding, make conscious effort to put in some healthy fats, maybe a little olive oil or something like that to help them. I remember the people who even force you, your mothers will even force you to go and buy cod liver oil and all that for them. The oil that smells like sardine oil. I hope some of you were forced to buy some for your children, So they are all healthy things that even they will force you to do. So some of them, when they are forcing you to do. Some are good. Then some to use your knowledge that you are getting here, and then you take charge and say, no, you will not do. Or I will do, but I will do small. I don't know if I told you about recently I visited my mom, and then she told me that somebody in their workplace is giving her child some multivitamins. I've forgotten the name. So she's calling the woman for me so that I talk to the woman and I buy some for my daughter. So I was like, why? What is the reason for wanting to buy a blood tonic or multivitamin supplements for her? She's looking slim too much. Sometimes her eyes look white and pale. I said, have you taken her to the hospital to check her hemoglobin level? Sister, me there for school now. I can't free me so and crano. I was so moody. No more. Then I'm so okay. Wait there. Let me talk to the woman. So she called the woman for me. I spoke to the woman, and the woman said, "Drobi, yeah. And Kalana, mama, yeah, come up. Then. I'm saying, Droni din the same. No boy, Droni din. I forgotten. So the following day, I took my daughter to the hospital because she wasn't well. Then they check her weight. Then she's 5 years, 5 years, 5 months or so. Yes, 5 years, 5 months. Then she was weighing 22 kg. Quickly, I Googled on World Health Organization's weight standard for children. If you are between 5 years, you should weigh from 18 point something to this. And my daughter is even about to be overweight. Oh. And my mother was going to buy her blood supplements and whatever again. I was like, hey. So I went back home and I said, look, these things that other people are doing, you don't have to also do some. The child that you want to even buy this blood supplement or whatever for is within a good weight. This is supposed to be the weight of a 5-year-old according to World Health Organization. This is supposed to be the weight of a 5-year-old. So why do you want to still give that child supplement? Then I told her that this child can never be Plumby. She can never be. I am not Plumby. Menso. Ne papa nso. So no magic will make the child look Plumby. The most important thing is that the child should have a healthy weight, and she's having a healthy weight, which is within the acceptable weight range for children. That is final. So for her looking chubby or whatever, dear, even if we pump everything in her system, genetically she can be. So that was how I was able to convince my mother. So I know some of you are going through these things in your homes. Learn, find out information. When you get your child's weight, find out whether it is in the acceptable weight range, whether it is in the recommended weight range, and then just give them whatever you are giving them that you think it's good for them. They don't need those extra supplements and other things for anything. I'm not saying those supplements are bad. They are good. Some are very good. They boost appetite. That is when the need be, then you give it to them. But when there is no need for it, you don't. So that's it. So
Yeah, thank you. These supplements, our mothers will kill us. Thank you so much.
for the mothers, they will kill you with it. So you need to know. You need, that is why you are even in school now. You need to know. For myself, I've never taken blood supplements before. Never. And maybe when I was young or whatever, but since I grew up, I've never taken any blood supplements before. The only time I took some is always during pregnancies, the ones that they give us, the multivitamins. Aside that, I don't take anything again. Because already you are in the good BMI. Just check your BMI, check your weight and see whether it's okay. You don't need them. Go to the hospital, check your hemoglobin level. If it is low and you need to supplement, then you do. But some people don't check these things, but people will just tell them, hey, this is good, oh, this blood one is good, oh, this one is good, oh, then you are following them. Remember all these drugs that they are producing. There are some preservatives in it, some things in it that they, in the long run, they will give you side effects. So that is that. Now, our infant is grown. He or she is a toddler and a preschooler. At this age, what happens? Nutrition at this stage is very important to achieve full growth and develop potential. They continue to grow and develop physically, cognitively, and emotionally during the toddler and preschool age, adding many new skills rapidly with time. At this stage, their eating becomes very difficult, and it is important for caregivers to know that there is slow growth rate and loss of appetite occurring in toddlers, and they naturally have a decreased interest in food and need to be encouraged. So this is the stage where, as a caregiver, as a mother or a father, you need to devise so many skills, because at this stage they have decreased appetite. They don't want to eat anything at all. Okay. So at this stage, you don't want to eat. However, learning to enjoy new foods and developing feeling skills are important components of that. So let's talk about this. Here, what are some of the strategies that we can use to encourage our learners, our learners, our toddlers and preschoolers to eat? We are saying that it is important for you to um, devise strategies to encourage them to eat. So what are some of the strategies that you have been using or you would use at this stage? Yes, let's make it interactive. Yes, Feka.
Madam, please. This time I usually add colors to the food. Maybe when you're preparing something for them, you add colors, the fruit, add colors to the egg. And sometimes I use variety. If they eat the tomorrow, they will not eat. So you have to change it and give them another food. Thank you, madam.
Okay, yes, any other? Yes, Francisca.
Madam, sir, my kids too, I notice that sometimes the portion, when you give them too many foods large on the plates like that, they don't take. So I normally, sometimes I only scoop 1 spoon of rice, maybe with uh, meat or fish. They will eat well, and rather, and if they need come, I'll increase it for them. And also sometimes I buy those decorative plates that have designs and things before I scoop the foods inside. Okay.
Okay. Hagar.
That's what my sister has just said. By serving the food in a colorful serving bowls, madam.
Okay. All right. Gloria.
Madam, sometimes when we want to use vegetables like carrots and the others in preparing their meal, we should dice them small, small. When it is big, it scares them. Most especially the onions, they'll be picking all of them, and sometimes they even lose appetite in front of the food. So when you want to use that, you have to dice them in small bits, small, 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 small. Then they will take it.
Hmm. Okay. Hey, so class, help me to thank Gloria. Last week Monday, yes, last week was my birthday, and then she sent me a birthday wish on some FM stations where they mention my name. People will be calling, hey, Laurentia, I heard your name here. So, hey, I couldn't even listen, but I learned it was Gloria. I haven't even seen her before, but Gloria, I'm grateful.
Oh,
I'm
madam, don't
so
mention it.
grateful.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Gloria, why didn't you do it on all of us our behalf?
Hey, why?
Anyway, well done.
Why do you want to attack Gloria? So Gloria, thank you for the shout. I think those
Madam,
those
you're
that
welcome. You're welcome.
those that heard it on Joy FM, so somebody called me and said, Larisha, I never knew you were a lecturer. I said, hey, Gloria has announced me to people that I am a lecturer. I said, so that is that. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate it
welcome.
a
You're
lot.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So what you are all saying is good. At this stage is the most difficult stage in the male manager's life. Okay. In all the stages of managing meals for people across life cycle, these people are the most difficult people to handle because of what they like and what they don't like. The texture, as Gloria said, the texture alone. So some people say, my child doesn't eat vegetables. It is about the texture. You've cut it too big. It's different. The rice has cooked and it is soft. And then you want the child to chew a crunchy vegetable. No, she will take it out. He or she will take it out, definitely. So you need to devise strategies that makes the texture of the veggies and all that the same or similar. If I always say that you have the power, we will look at the nutritional requirement and you know that they need a lot of vitamins at this stage because of infections. It is at this stage that they pick things in their mouth, they go to school. Infections are very common. So like the vitamin C's and those vitamins that will help to fight infections should be included in their diet. So if they don't want to eat them raw, you should find ways and means of making it. One of my strategy was that I realized my daughter would take some years back, I think when she was 1 and 2 thereabout, she would take the fruit juices and all that. But you know how she wants it. She wants to see it in the packs of the named drinks. So let's say if you want to give her the fruit juice that you have made in the home, because you don't have the pack, maybe you would have put it in a certain bottle that doesn't have a label, or a certain pack that doesn't look like you've bought it. Do you know that I originally had to go and buy all those bottles, like the bottles that they use for Sobolo, and then I will bottle it. I will open it in front of her for her to see that it is open. The cork has stirred, for her to know that I didn't prepare it, and she'll take it. That is part of the strategy. Initially, I was sterilizing the malt bottles. So when we buy the plastic malt, then I will sterilize them. I will use hot water to clean it, and then I will be filling it with her juices, so that when you open it, she sees the label and all that. That's another work. So she will take it, and that one sometimes it is maybe carrot and orange juice. Sometimes it is orange and pineapple juice. Sometimes it is mango, depending on whatever is in season or whatever we lay our hands on. But you may have to put it in the bottle that has labels that looks like what is on the market, like the Bigo bottle. So you have the Bigo bottle, but it is not Bigo that is in. So at some point, I told a friend that I'm going to make a label, and then I'll prepare the juices. I'll put them in the bottle, then I'll label it, and then I'll put the label on it and put it in the fridge. He said, food and nutrition for the Mabadamo, you want to go to this extent for her? And I said, if this is what will make her eat what I want to make, let her eat, then I will do. They said, no, we should keep on with sterilizing the Bigo bottles and then the malt bottles for. So about 3 years, then this, let me say, excuse my language, this nonsense stopped, and then now she's used to whatever thing you put the juice in for her. But if really this is what you have to go through, this is what some people go through at this stage. So at this stage, you devise a lot of strategy as the meal manager to get the child to eat what they have to eat, because this is the hardest part. So let's look at, and then you can ask the Fekatu said you can also use for attractive plates. Some have a shape of a fish. Some you have some cutters that you can use to cut the watermelon. Like some are like the alphabet. Some have the shape of the numbers, and they like it. Seriously, when you give it to them, they like it. So we need to make sure that we are able to give these things to our children. So children need a source of fluoride in their diet for healthy teeth development. So at this stage, they will be developing their teeth. Some of the teeth will be falling out and others will be coming in. So they need a good fluoride. All other nutrients needed in good supply for growth. So all other nutrients are needed here at this stage: the proteins, the carbohydrates, the fats, everything that you are eating, they can eat some. Just make sure that you give it to them at the right texture, color that they want. I think last week I made mention of the fact that you can even use beetroot to cook rice. You cut a little beetroot, you put it on your rice, it changes the color. It looks beautiful, it looks red. You can use turmeric to make the rice yellow. It looks beautiful. There are so many things that you can do to change the color and appearance of it so that it increases their appetite. So at this stage is the strategy stage. Here you develop strategies. So let's move on to adolescent. So now our child has grown to adolescent, and at the adolescent, nutrition and health is very important, because at this stage they are about to menstruate and all that. They're about to develop their sex hormones, their puberty is about to take place and all that. So adolescent overweight and obesity can lead to development of hypertension, dyslipidemia, insulin resistance during adulthood. So at this stage, you have to be very careful so that they don't become overweight. Sometimes people want to feed their children when they become adolescent. One of the effects of overweight during adolescence is that some of them lose their self-esteem. So apart from the nutritional aspect, be very careful. Children who are overweight, especially when they are in a place where they call them oboloche and all those things, they become overweight. You need to, they become timid. Some lose their self-esteem. Some lose their confidence as they are growing up. I had a child in the college that I teach. We have a basic school there. Most colleges do. We have a demonstration school. And there is this big girl that I used to send her to buy stuff for me, maybe if I need water or something. One day, jokingly, I asked her, "Hey, Rakia, do you have a boyfriend?" I say, "Madam, I felt bad, like a 13-year-old, because she's big, she's really fat, and she has seen that they are wine a pen." So I quelled for some time. Then I remembered these things that we used to teach, that adolescent overweight is very bad. It has some detrimental thing on their self-image. So I had to call her, talk to her that she shouldn't look down on herself, and that if at this age the boys are not coming, she should take it as a good thing, or she should see it as not a distraction. She should learn, and that she's beautiful. They will come when she grows. Even at this stage, she doesn't need it, have to put in so much psychology, because when that statement came, it was so bad. It just came like that. They were just teasing the others that they have boyfriends and stuff. So I just said, "Oh, Rakia, do you also have a boyfriend?" I said, "Hey, madam, they are my wine," and that was bad. So that is how we need to make sure that at this stage, to whatever we are feeding them is not taking them to be too big for them to lose their self-esteem. So for proper sexual development, sexual maturation, and biological maturation, the degree of nutrition in an adolescent must be determined. So here they start to the estrogen starts to work here, because this is the stage where menstruation starts. So they need good amounts of fat, good protein, good iron. The men need the zinc to start developing their testosterone and then their semen production and all that. So at this stage too, we don't take meals for granted. Unhealthy eating behavior common among adolescents include frequent dieting, meal skipping, use of unhealthy dietary practices, and frequent consumption of foods high in fat and sugar, such as fast food, soft drinks, and savory snacks. Here too is very important, the unhealthy eating behavior. The unhealthy eating behavior, this part too is very important. My landlady's daughter just completed senior high school. I think she's 18 or 19. She's been skipping meals. Then the mother told me to talk to her. When I asked her, "Anna, why don't you want to eat?" There's a flat tummy goals. You see, these adolescent, these things that people are doing on social media, doing the BBL, having that whatever shape, is also influencing the adolescent, and because of that they are skipping meals, they are not eating. So a child that the parents have money, they can buy any food for her, she will not eat because she doesn't want to have a big tummy. So I had to talk to her and tell her that at this stage is not the stage that they look for big tummy. She should eat, look healthy at this stage, so that she can develop all her ovaries, the hormones. I have to even say what is not even true, just to blackmail her that if she doesn't eat well at this stage and gets enough fat in her, she can't give birth when she grows up. So I had to even use all of that to convince the child. You may have some of these children in your homes. You may have some as your students. You may have some as your younger sisters. That now the quest for healthy figures is causing them to the quest for healthy figures is causing them not to eat well. They are skipping meals. Some are also into this sugary and fast food, Indomie and all those stuff. Remember, we said that excess amount of fat too has effect on their reproduction. So at this stage, we need to have a lot of knowledge about the foods that they need, and then we need to counsel them very well and tell them why they need to eat well and eat in moderation so that they don't get too fat and then they don't also get too thin. So here to zinc deficiency prior to and during adolescence is associated to hypogonadism and lack of sexual development, such as reduced growth of the penis, failure of the voice deepening, and lack of muscle enlargement. So adolescent boys also need a lot of zinc. Remember, as for zinc, we've talked about it as an important thing for the males, because if they don't get it here, they will be reduce growth of their penis. Now they will grow up and then every advert on the TV is about enlargement of penis. Asamamo bro, every advert on TV now is about growth of penis. So if you don't want your child to go through that when he grows, he'll be taking in drugs to enlarge their penis. Make sure that they take in a lot of zinc during the adolescent stage. They eat foods that are rich in zinc so that the penis can grow to whatever whatever size or shape that they want. But that one too is genetic, depending on some things. If it's genetically, it won't grow, it won't grow. Then they also need the zinc for deepening of their voice and muscle enlargement. So the zinc is very important because it's a cofactor. It helps in the enzyme work a lot. Zinc is a cofactor. So that is that about adolescent nutrition. So what should they eat? So apart from the role it plays in synthesis of RNA as the zinc. So when we say zinc is a cofactor, this is the function of zinc. So whenever you are asked about the function of zinc in adolescents, that is what you will write. So in case that they ask that it plays a role in the synthesis of RNA and it serves as a cofactor for adolescents, and even not for for male reproductive organ. That is what it does. Changes during adolescence bring about increased need for energy, protein, vitamins, and minerals. And at this stage too, they are very active. They go, especially the boys, they play a lot of football, they go up and down. It's of late that the girls have stopped playing the ampe and the kwani and all those stuff. But at this stage, they are very active, and because of that, they need a lot of energy, proteins, and vitamins. So energy nutrients dense foods are important to increase lean body mass, skeletal muscles, and body fat. So at this adolescent stage, make sure that their foods are energy nutrient dense. An amount of 0.85 kg of body weight is required for females between the ages of 11 to 14 years and males. So this inadequate protein leads to reduction in linear growth. At this stage too, they need a lot of protein. You know, protein is our growth hormones. So for them to grow well, for their hair to grow, their hips to enlarge, you know, at this stage, the girls develop broader hips, the breast works and all that. So you've been teaching adolescents and puberty stuff already. So you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. They need a lot of nutrients to work. So that's for them. Inadequate protein may lead to reduction in linear growth. So they need to grow well. At this stage life, calcium intake is very important for the development of bone mass. Participation in physical activity also helps in building bone mass. So at this stage, make sure that there are a lot of calcium in their diet. And this is the reason why they need the calcium. Yes, any questions so far? Any contribution?
Hello, madam.
Yes.
In the beginning of the lesson, I asked a question that during the conception time, some women do not have appetite for food, and they may just be lean. What causes it?
Those things, Hagar, those things are biological stuff. Okay, it is biological. It's biological issues. During pregnancy comes with its own challenges that most people are unable to eat in the first trimester. Others even take it through to the ninth trimester. Sorry, the last trimester, that is the ninth month. So you need to know yourself and then make a conscious effort that you try new things. Try the beje ono na wafa. That one is biological.
Sorry to cut no, madam. Even some women even say that, this pregnancy, it will be a boy, the way I'm just feeling because of the symptoms that's just occurring in the body.
Those
Because
those
they say that when I was pregnant at first, she was a girl. I didn't feel this symptoms and this whole lot of experiences, but I can detect this one will be a boy.
that is also there. Dinah, yes, do you want to say something? Yes, Yusuf. Yusuf and Dinah, any of you can talk. Do you want to say something? If not, let me continue. Yeah, so we are saying that in at this stage, calcium is also very important. So why? Because they help in the development of bone mass and all that.
Madam, can I ask my question?
Yes, ask. I've called you already.
Okay. So I have a friend who have like a like for slim ladies,
Mm-hmm.
and actually he really got one. But after the lady gave birth, it's like she increased in some weight. Like she became fat.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's like he has started losing
Your
interest.
voice is down. Your voice is
Like
low. I can hear.
he started losing interest in the way that like his woman like has become, because actually he has a team for slim ladies, and now that she has given birth and it's like she's beginning to be fat. So I just want to understand what usually account for this thing. Like a lady is slim, and after giving birth it's like she will start increasing in weight, or like she will start be fat or something. What usually account for that thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, if I've gotten your question, I'll answer. Yes, Dinah, do you want to ask something? Okay, so answering Yusuf's questions, Yusuf, this that's your friend. I always tell my male colleagues that pregnancy and hormonal changes in women, they are very inevitable. When you want to marry a woman and you think like your taste is very, very, very slim lady, I don't know whether you are married or not, and as someone, go to the family, check the family of the woman, check their genes and see, check the sizes of your woman's grandmother, your woman's mother, her aunties. If your woman is slim and by any chance you've seen that the mother is big or the grandmother is big, just know that that slim is just an adolescent slim. Sarah, mute yourself. When they give birth and then the hormonal things set in, they will become big. So go to the family of, let's say, a Esiedun Ketia. Check the genetics there. No matter what, they will not be big. So you go and you pick somebody from such a family. When you check a Esiedun Ketia's family, looking at how that man is, the kind of money that he has, and the kind of food that he can eat, and he's still looking like what he's looking. If you get his daughter and you marry, you know that genetically there is no fatness or anything like that in there. But normal adolescents, normal girls, we grow up, we become thinner when we are very young. As soon as you give birth, the hormones start to work and then you become fat. Some are able to bounce back to their state because genetically, no, fat any woman dada. Then there are some that genetically they are big. There is nothing you can do to make them slim. There are some that the women can make conscious effort. Are you getting what I'm saying? Very conscious effort to make sure that they don't go overboard. They stay within their minimum weight. They eat well, they exercise and all that. So you too, as a man, it is your duty to know and understand this and know that these changes are bound to happen. So that if your taste is very, 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 very slim, as part of your looking criteria, you look for very, 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 very slim family and go into it. That one, you are sure that no matter what they will do or what they will eat, they will, if you look at somebody like Yvonne Nelson, Yvonne Nelson is always looking thin. Yes, she exercises, she eats well, but you could see that genetically the fatness is not in that lady. The fatness is not in her. You can't come and compare your wife to her. Some of your men that are complaining that the wife has become big and this time that you're talking about, such a man doesn't even help the woman in the home. So the girl has given birth. She's the one nursing the child, doing all the household chores. He has to wake up at 4 a.m. to wash, cook, do this. What time will she get to exercise so that she will lose the weight? So these people that you are seeing that they have given birth and they are still looking fresh and beautiful, probably have washing machines at home. They have servants that are helping them. So they have about 2 hours to go and exercise. But that woman that you want to say she's slim and you have lost interest in her doesn't have this kind of help to look beautiful, to even have the 30 minutes, because the only 30 minutes break she will have is when the child is sleeping. And when the child is sleeping, she has to quickly wash, she has to quickly cook, she has to quickly do this. The stress is just too much on that lady to lose weight. So kindly tell your friend that you brought his issue to your class, and this is what your madam is saying, that now that she's gotten the woman already, if she's not interested, she should just leave her to have her peace of mind, because such men, they will bruise your self-esteem, they will make you feel worthless. They will tell you about how now you are looking fat, your stomach is big, and if care is not taken, he will put so much psychological stress on the woman that she will start she will start eating inadequately. She will start skipping meals. She will start doing things that she's not supposed to do, and it will have a lot of health effects on her. She may even get ulcer. Even in her quest to lose weight, she will gain more weight, because some people, when they are depressed, that is when they gain more weight, because the more cortisol is being released into your system, you gain more weight. So tell your friend that if there is no help around the house, she should help the woman, so that the woman will relax. She will get some time to at least skip for some 15 minutes to burn some fat, and then she should help her with some labor saving equipment if they are not having, so that her stress level will be reduced and all that, and she'll look fine. She'll look fine. I think it is only some type of men, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, who do that. Who do that, because we all understand these things that happens when women get pregnant. So it's only some type of men who do that. So at this stage of the adolescent's life, calcium is very important. Vitamin A has a good antioxidant properties, and they are important for mass. So these are some of the vitamins and minerals that, so when you are asked to mention some, or if you are talking about or preparing the meals, we have to see that the meals you are preparing features some of these vitamins in it. Vitamin C helps in the synthesis of collagen and other connective tissues, so they are very important here. Dietary fiber is important at this stage. They help prevent certain chronic diseases like cancer and type 2 diabetes. So sometimes adolescents too, they get diabetes. So you have to make sure that you've given them foods that are rich in fiber, so that they don't get diabetes. It's not only adults who get diabetes. Then, however, too much fiber also reduce some. Then fiber helps reduce serum cholesterol levels, moderate blood sugar risk, and obesity. Carbohydrate recommendation for adolescents are 30 grams per day, or 45 to 65% daily. About 25 to 35 of calories obtained by adolescents should come from fat. So 25 to 35% of their diet should come from fat. So this is what adolescents should take. So that's about adolescents. Any question about adolescents? Any question? Okay. So now we got pregnant, we gave birth, our child became an infant, she became a preschooler, and then she's an adolescent now. So now let's go to adulthood. Now our child is grown. So have you seen that today we have been able to do a lot? We've gotten pregnant and given birth. Now our child is grown. So here it is also a very important life cycle. Our organs and our tissues and our cells begin to weaken and are no longer able to function as efficiently as it is before. So people are not actively growing as before and require minimal nutrients for maintenance. So at this stage, the most important thing is what? Maintenance. We are not talking about growth here. We are only tintin bi udi age bi a otintin esi. Nti afei no unze who grow linearly as a yekese. But we are saying that at this stage we need maintenance. So in adulthood, we are talking about maintenance, not growth. So don't eat to grow, we eat to maintain. We eat to maintain our neutral energy balance, what we talked about earlier, not to grow. Accumulation of excess nutrients in the body at this stage of life may lead to fat disposition and subsequent health problems. So yes, at this stage, we are on the maintenance spectrum and not to eat to grow. Unfortunately, too, it is at this stage that probably all the things that you lacked at adolescent, you want to eat it now because it's now that you are working and you have the money. So you may be tempted to satisfy your childhood cravings. But please remember, excess accumulation of nutrients at this stage may lead to fat disposition. So chronic diseases show up here at this stage a lot because of what I'm talking about. Hey, me the Yesusa krano, you bury a coconut, just a Christmas, Yesusa krano, you bury bibia, just a no mortar, just say our day and I be binti na semitimi, juma dia, and you mean to tobi no me. So as you are trying to psychologically satisfy that your childhood cravings, you are likely to get into this kind of problems, hypertension, diabetes, and fat disposition. So Hannah, sakra chinchingampo, untiminya binto, munyame mandombo sumi aso na yetwamka. Minkopa confirm back will be na minwe. It is there. Sometimes you need to satisfy your cravings and your soul, but we are saying that do not do it frequently at this stage. There is reduced level of estrogen and testosterone in adults at this age. Women over 30s, once we click 30s, then our estrogen level begin to reduce. That is why, if not for school and other things, ideally, if you want to give birth by age 35, you should be done. Because from at this stage, there is what reduced level of estrogen and testosterone also in the men. It begins to reduce by age. Begins to reduce by age. There is also reduced secretion of growth hormones, reduced glucose tolerance, and decreased ability to convert provitamin D to previtamin D in the skin. So here there is what a reduced glucose tolerance. The reason adolescents don't usually get diabetes is because they have glucose tolerance. They are able to tolerate glucose because they are active. So when the sugars get into their bloodstream, it's able to work fast. But here, when you are growing, you have a reduced glucose tolerance. So because of that, you need to make sure that your foods are not too much glucose dense, because you have reduced glucose tolerance. Okay, let's move on. So what do they need at this stage? What will you do if you are planning a meal for the adults? What will you do from what we have talked about and what you have heard about the adults stage? What will you do? What will you give them? How will it inform the meals that we eat? We are all in adulthood, so this is our stage. Are you not the ones that did applied nutrition just yesterday? If we are saying that people are not actively growing before and they require minimal nutrients for maintenance, what will you do? Use your knowledge that you just acquired yesterday from applied nutrition. about calculation of estimated energy requirement using your power, your physical activity level, your BMR, and then your age and all that stuff. Somebody should use it to explain this point. I want to see if you can link the knowledge from that place to here. Yes, Rebecca.
Yeah, madam, I'm trying.
Mm.
Please, per what we did yesterday, if we are to plan a meal for our stage, then first of all, at our BMR, we have to look at our BMI too. And then we look at now, most of us, we don't do that vigorous activity like what we discussed yesterday. So we look at it and then we plan our meal in such a way that we will not go beyond the normal calories that we need to take in the day. So when you use your BMR and then your BMI and then you fall beyond the normal weight, then your meal has to be planned in a way that it will help to you to fall within the normal weight that who is talking about, or we discussed it yesterday. So it depends on your physical activities and then your weight, using your BMI as a point of reference in planning. So since most of us don't do vigorous activities, we shouldn't consume more calories compared to the adolescents. But even if you want to consume, you have to check your physical activities and then your age and then weight before you can plan your meals.
Okay. Yes, any other, those of you who learned your applied nutrition online. Becky is my student from Cape Coast. So yesterday we did the face to face, and she will always run away to join me everywhere I go. So don't mind her. Those who did your online, how are you going to maintain this lifestyle using what you learned yesterday? Anita, why are you quiet today? Or you are in church?
No, madam, I was traveling. I was in a car. I just arrived at home.
Yes, Hagar and Gloria, Cynthia, Feka, my constant contributors. Do you have something to say? I have to meet you one way or the other. I don't know how I can see some of you. How would I get to see you? Because it can't be that I've taught you for a year now. We've done a lot of courses, and I don't know I don't know you people and you don't know me. So how will we meet? How will I see you? Is it maybe when you come for your graduation? What if I'm also not around?
Mom, please, you have to try and come.
uh, okay.
Madam, please, where exactly are you?
Me, I'm a mobile person. I can be anywhere. I'm a mobile I'm a mobile person because right now I'm in Cape Coast. By next week I am in Seshi Debiso. By some weeks I'm in Kumasi. By some time I'm in Diaya Onkwanta. So these are my routines. So I don't really know where I am.
Madam, they are saying our graduation is on 20th December. So if it will be possible, I think we will meet there.
This 20th December.
Yes, that's what they were saying. I don't know
You
whether
mean
they.
next month?
Yes, madam.
Na mobile exam time be.
I got 2 weeks near static quizzes till by the end of November near we exams na.
No mama cage na some mama we school.
Okay, so
I,
I'm fine
Madam,
here.
I think that our final quiz will be on 7th December. That's when we will finish with the online quiz. 7th December.
And they will finish everything, get your results ready for you to graduate on the 20th of December.
Yes.
Hey, then that's nice. 20th of December, 20th of December. Well, let's see. I don't think I may be around, but let's see. Maybe because last year,
Madam, please, you need to come.
why? Okay.
We want to
I
see
was,
your face.
I want to I want to see you too because it's really not too good that you've been teaching people. But those at the Western North can come and see me at my place. Yeah. So that's about let's look at the aged and then the elderly. They are also very important. Remember the last time when we were talking about meal management for people, I included them that if you have all of these people in your family, how do you cook for them? So let's look at certain characteristics in relation to nutritional demands. So here, certain
Madam,
physiological, yes,
madam,
yes, Becky.
please. But what I said, you didn't give any whether I'm correct or if.
Yes, yes, sorry. Yes, what you said was correct. If you want to plan meal for adults to maintain their body weight, what you have to first do is to check the person's weight. That is the person's BMI to see if the person's BMI is in the acceptable range. That's the normal range by the World Health Organization. If it is, then what you have to do is that you need to use the person's weight to calculate the person's weight, the person's age and height to calculate the person's BMR, which yesterday I know you did. The online group, did you calculate BMR?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
So you use that to calculate the person's BMR. Then per the person's activity level, as Becky said, if the person is not too active, there is a table that describes the activity level factor that you should use. So if you calculate the person's activity level, and that will give you the total amount of calories or energy that the person needs to eat. So yesterday I told them that if you are calculating and then you get more than 2,000 calories, then you should go and check again that could it be that your weight is too much? That is why we got more than, because yesterday we used somebody's weight in our class to calculate, and the person was supposed to eat 2,100 and something. Then I said no, we should go and check her weight. Then when we checked her weight and we calculated her BMI, she was overweight. So for you to maintain this thing so that there will not be any fat disposition, as we've talked about from what I'm talking about here, there is no fat disposition that's left for you to have any adverse effect. You need to calculate these things. Then you know that this is the amount of calories that you need to eat in a day so that you get neutral energy balance. The energy output input should be equal to your energy output. So at this stage, this is what you need to do because you want to do maintenance, no overboard. So Becky, you were right. That is that. So the elderly, good nutrition is very important to reduce the risk of diseases and delay death. So when somebody says that sikantimi ntonkwa, sikatimi delay death, it doesn't buy, but it delays death. Good nutrition delays death. If you eat well, you stay in good nutrition, we all will die. That one is true, but it can delay the time that you will die. So good nutrition at this stage is very important. It contributes to wellness. Diseases and disabilities are not, so sometimes you may live long but you are not well. That is not good. When you are old, you have to be old and well. So for you to be well even in your old age, you need good nutrition. Diseases and disabilities are very inevitable consequences with old age. So we need to, here they need a lot of vitamin, they need a lot of calcium to maintain their body and their bones, because here they are likely to be affected by what we call osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, that is, there is the porousness in their bones. That is why when they fall down, their bones break, and when it breaks, it's unable to get healed. So here too, they need a lot of calcium. Their kidneys may weaken and less water is retained in their tubes. There is decline in lean body mass, fat mass, hormonal changes in women, loss of minerals, body water, and muscle mass. That is why when they are growing up, hormones start to wrinkle, the body starts to trim, because there is loss of body water and body mass. So this loss of minerals, loss of fat mass and all that, they cause the skin to wrinkle. So at this stage too, they need to replenish by drinking in more water, eating more fruits and to look fresh and healthy all the time. There is reduced blood vessel elasticity. So the blood vessel has to be elastic. I will say it may expand. They said the way moja no air pump a baby ama moja na fast. Once it becomes less elastic, then it reduces their blood volume, and then it increases pressure, because then now it is not more elastic, so the blood has to pump with lots of pressure. So that is why hypertension is really prevalent in the elderly. The elders get it a lot. This is the reason, because of what reduce blood vessel elasticity. There's a elastic biome, emu expand biome. So stroke volume output, no. There is high oxidative stress, which builds up unstable oxygen compounds, and this can be reduced through diet. So if you give them a lot of diet that contains antioxidants like the anthocyanins, the vitamin E's, the vitamin A's, you make sure that there are carotenoids in their diet, it helps them. They have poor fitting teeth. That's why I was saying that they need a lot of calcium fluoride at this stage. So their teeth becomes poorer. They cannot chew the normal bones that they chew. The teeth becomes to remove and all that. So the aged has difficulty swallowing food and have reduced secretion of saliva and digestive enzymes. So most of them, chewing food even becomes difficult for them because saliva that will come into their mouth to help them in masticating the food becomes reduced because there is reduced production of these enzymes in their mouth. So when they are growing, most of them don't want chewy foods anymore because chewing it, the saliva that will come for it to masticate fast, for them, it becomes difficult. Then they have blunted appetite and taste regulation, and their sense of taste, smell, touch, and recognition are all reduced. If you have ever stayed with a very elderly woman before, this is part of the reason you might think they are witches, because here you give them food, the food tastes nice, but they are saying it doesn't taste nice. This is the reason. So if you have a grandma, a mother-in-law that you are staying with, she's not a witch. It is biological. Their taste, their sense of taste reduces. So nice food, their son will come and she'll complain that you gave her saltless food. It's normal. Their sense of smell also reduces. So the food doesn't, the aroma of the food doesn't seem appealing to her, even though it's appealing to everybody. So if you're living with such a person, whatever you do, they don't appreciate, they don't like it. If you give them food, they even forget that you've given them food. If you give them food, they say you didn't give them food. If they eat, some of them, they become hungry very fast. So you will think that you've given her food, so you are waiting for 4 p.m. before you give another food. She's hungry, she's complaining, you think she's a witch. She's not a witch. Indeed, she's not, she's hungry. So you have to understand all these things, that these are all hormonal issues that are happening with them. They are not witches. They need the nutritional requirement. They need to have food that are savory and tasty to boost their appetite and help them eat more. So if at this stage the person likes so much pepper, give them so much pepper, because that is what will help them. They need foods that will boost their appetite. It is at this stage that you don't want to give them salt because of hypertension and other stuff. But it's at this stage that they also want to eat salt because the food doesn't taste nice for them. So every food that you give them, they'll tell you that there is no salt in it. Meanwhile, you are trying to help them to reduce salt. You say everything, they don't want to understand. And so that one too, you have to devise strategies to help. Provide them with foods that are rich in antioxidants. Yes, I said it earlier, that make sure that they have a lot of food with selenium, vitamin E, vitamin C, and such phytochemicals like lycopene, carotene, beta carotene. I've talked about it. Make sure that their food contain these vitamins to help them because of the oxidative stress that is on them. The food for the aged should be presented in smooth form to enhance eating. So Sonia Santinia or Penny Fufodia a posimo, learn to ask them what they want. If they want their food to be their fufu to be hard, give them hard. If they want it to be soft, give them the texture that will enhance their eating. And as they are getting very old, then you change the texture for them. So food must be less spicy, less salty, and presented in small quantities for them. But this one is very relative, depending on the kind of adult you are with in your family. If you're writing for exams, you can write this. But if you want to practice it in your family, if you want to practice it in your family, ask them. It doesn't always mean that the food should be less spicy and less salty. Find out what they want. Some want, or when they grow, it is at that time that they want the very spicy food. When you say something is spicy, it doesn't mean that it has spices, meaning it has a lot of pepper and some either ginger and those stuff. They should be the easily digested and more fluid food. So you should give them more fluid food. More water should be provided for hydration. So if you have an aged in the house, make sure that they drink a lot of water to hydrate them, to prevent them from constipation and other stuff. So that is that about nutrition across the life cycle. So we started by getting pregnant, trying to have sex to get pregnant. We got pregnant. We talked about what we will eat and what we will do in pregnancy. Then we got the baby. We talked about what we will do during the baby, what the baby needs for development. Then, by God's grace, our child got to the toddler stage, went to school. That one too, we talked about the nutrition that they need. We said that this is the most difficult stage since their appetite decline and they don't want to eat food. So we have to devise a lot of strategies to improve their nutrition. So it is important for us to explore what they like. And most of you talked about your strategies that you have been using. Then our child grew to the adolescent stage. Then we talked about the fact that at this stage too, the children need a lot of nutrients, the protein, the ions, good amounts of carbohydrates for them to develop. The females are developing their sex hormones, their hips are enlarging, the men's penis is growing, their voice is deepening, and their muscles is enlarging. They need zinc here. The girls need proteins and all the healthy things. Then we also said that we should be very careful of unhealthy eating behavior during the adolescent stage because the girls may be looking to get thinner bodies and other stuff, so they may be skipping meals and other things. And then at this stage too, we should still take care of their diets because some of them will be eating fast food, this unhealthy snacks and other things. So this stage too is very important, and then we have to take care of them. Then we talked about the nutrient requirements during this stage, how much of nutrient that they need, why they need zinc, because the zinc is a cofactor. We talked about their protein needs, their energy needs, their vitamin needs, because the girls will be menstruating, and for that matter, they need it the most. Then we also talked about the adulthood, when you grow, what we did right now, the energy needs, so that you can maintain your energy balance, so that you will not get a lot of fat dispositions, which will subsequently lead to certain chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes, and then the others. Because as an adult too, you have reduced glucose tolerance, so you have to make sure that you limit your carbohydrate intake, especially if your activity level is low. So we talked about that. Then we did the elderly in the home, and we were done with the nutrition meal management at this stage. So here you'll be asked, maybe in the exams you'll be asked to plan a meal for any of these groups. I don't know which one might come, but from what we have learned and the nutrient requirements for each of them at any stage, I believe that whenever you are asked to plan a day's meal, plan a day's meal for any of them. So this is the apple that I'm giving you. You'll be asked to plan a day's meal for any of them, any of these groups. You need to bring out the nutrients that they need and why you added this food. If you are doing it for somebody who is trying to get pregnant, preconception, which nutrient that they need. So your reasons for choice for those particular foods should feature what we have said. If it is adolescent, if it is the aged, if it is the pregnant woman or the elderly, your reasons for choice, why you chose this food, the kind of nutrient that is in it, that's why you are giving to them. You should be able to explain and justify. So these are some of the questions. That is why I took my time to take you through. And I've always told you that to whom much is given, much is expected. Do you have any question? If not, we quickly zoom to the unit 5. The reason I didn't let us do unit 5 is because we have done it in meal management. I actually wanted to close the lecture because I need to rush to campus to teach food handling and preservation. Today they are preserving one or two things. So I want to be there and then check what they are preserving. So for this one, I won't really talk much because you have the idea from applied nutrition. So we will just brushed through. We have these two special individuals. So the special individual, the first one is the. Hey, but I asked whether you have a question. Let me know before. Do you have a question? Is it Safura Halidu? Is it Safura or Sali? I don't know. Is it Safura? Those that are in the north, you have to give me invitation to come to the north. I haven't been to the north before. So Fuseni, if your wife will not give me invitation to come,
Okay, madam, you are highly welcome.
are you sure?
I'll talk to my colleagues so that we'll invite you.
Eh, you have to invite me, and then you have to host me. When I come, I will eat TZ, Kubani, Wasa Wasa,
Hey,
and then
madam, you
what?
have a
He said,
no. How you get to know the names of the dishes?
"Hey, I'm a food and nutrition person."
Oh wow.
I even know another was and Ivani. I even know it. Like madam.
Yes. So when I come, these are the dishes that I will eat, and then the TZ I will eat millet TZ. Then I would want to eat fresh groundnut. Like I mean, fresh groundnut. There's a way you prepare your soup with fresh groundnut.
We call it brasu.
Black soup. That is the kind of soup that I would want to eat. So I'll come. Invite me so that I'll come and spend some 3 days with you, and then I will enjoy these things. It's good to try other people's. For me, I'm not. I don't eat this type of person. That is one thing. Nutrition has taught me that there are no good or bad foods. So whenever I meet anybody and then they mention any food, there's any food I want to try and know how it is, see whether it is even better than what I know, then I'll adopt it as part of my food. So I eat everything. I eat everything. I eat everything. Thank God that the church that I attend, we don't have food prohibitions. Methodist, we don't eat this. So because of that, it helps me to explore and eat everything that I'm given. So diabetes is what we will be looking at. The key to a diabetic diet. We all know what diabetes is. We all know how it starts when your body is unable to break down, release insulin. The pancreas is unable to release the insulin for it to break down the carbohydrates. We know this from nutrition and health. That's why I'm not going back. So just go back and read. So the key to a diabetic diet is eating in moderation. We've always talked about this in nutrition and health, that if it's eating in moderation, sticking to regular meal times, and eating a variety of fruit, vegetables, and whole grains. I know for nutrition and health, I taught you this, that it's not about saying I'm scared of this food, I'm scared of that food. It's about sticking to a regular meal time so that you'll be able to regulate your insulin level. So when you need to, sorry. Yeah. So sorry, I was taking water. Yeah. So you need to stick to regular meal times. Diabetes is on the rise, yet most cases of diabetes are preventable with healthy lifestyle. You have more control over your health than you think. If you are concerned about diabetes, you can make a difference by eating a healthy diet, keeping your weight in check, and getting enough exercise. So when you are planning a meal for a diabetic person, what should you do? What to eat is the issue. A lot of people are confused about what to eat during diabetic. You are supposed to eat everything. Everything in nutriment is good. It is one of the principles of nutrition, depending on how you put it. So there are no good or bad foods. Your diet makes a huge difference. You should eat mostly plant foods. That is one thing about diabetics. You should eat mostly plant foods. You should cut back on refined carbohydrates and sugary drinks and choose healthy fats. So have you seen, we didn't say don't eat fat. Then diabetes mainly fat. No, we said choose healthy fat. So we have the saturated and then the unsaturated fatty acids. Even under the unsaturated that we want you to eat, we want you to eat the polyunsaturated. So know that you need to eat healthy fat, and then we need to eat carbohydrates. But here the caveat is that cut back on refined carbohydrates. So the carbohydrate you should eat should be whole carbohydrates, not the refined ones. Then we are saying that cut down on sugary drinks. Why? You should know the why, which we have done in nutrition and health, that these ones, they are easily released into your bloodstream and they increase your glucose level easily. So this is what you are supposed to eat. When you are asked the question about what a diabetic is supposed to eat, for the diabetes and then the hypertension, we will not ask you question on it. Trust me, because you've done it in nutrition and health. I think your compulsory question and nutrition and health was on diabetes and hypertension. So few questions may come at the objective, but let's say a compulsory question to plan a meal will not come on diabetes or maybe hypertension. It will definitely be the first ones, any of those groups that we talked about earlier. So you need to still know, because maybe there might be one or two questions in maybe the objectives, or not really a compulsory question. But this one, you need to also know it for life. Then when to eat. When to eat. Some people are skipping meals. I don't want to eat at this time because of my diabetes. I eat once a day. That person will die faster. Diet is part, but keeping regular meal is important. So when to eat is regular time. We don't have a particular time. It should be regular, consistent. Okay. When to eat that, it should be regular, and it should be what? Keep them more constant. That is the word. Consistent. So whenever you are asked that, when should you eat? When should a diabetic person eat? You should eat every day, every time. You should eat every day, every time, and then you should make sure that you keep it at a constant time. You should eat every day, every time, and then it should be at a constant time. What to eat is also a question that you can answer. That what to eat, they have to eat everything, but then you bring them back. It should be from plant sources. They should cut down on refined carbohydrates and sugary. They should rather avoid unhealthy fats like the saturated, mono unsaturated, and then all those fats. How much to eat is also a very important question. All of this will answer how you should feed the person. Portion size matters a lot. Even if you eat a very healthy meal, if you eat too much, you gain weight, which is a very negative factor for diabetes. You don't have to eat too much to fluctuate your glucose level. So how much? Eat in moderation. That is why they have to keep a consistent. You have to eat like 4 times in a day so that you keep a consistent glucose level, rather than you've eaten big. Some people, they skip the meals. Oh yeah, I don't eat in the morning. Then in the afternoon, what they eat is like times 2. So why don't you eat it small? Like this morning when I jumped on the online and you were not coming, you were about 20 minutes late. I quickly made some small Milo, got some bread, and then I take to give me energy to teach. When I finish, I will take something quickly and rush to campus to eat, to teach the two people. It's better than saying you are waiting for a one-shot meal in the evening. That is very bad. An individual does not need to eat any special food. So here, that is it. Whenever somebody is talking about diabetes and they're saying they don't know what to eat, just tell them that you don't need to eat any special food, but instead a healthy eating plan that is high in nutrients. So there are no special food for diabetics. No, you will not get them anywhere. Whatever we are eating is whatever they should also eat, but you should know what they should eat, when they should eat it, and how much of it should eat. But they should eat more fruits and vegetables and whole grain because they need what? Fiber. Remember, we talked about fiber, that it doesn't contribute to your blood glucose level because it is not digested in the stomach, but it is fermented in the guts. So it doesn't secrete any sugar to you. People often talk about avoiding sugar in one's diet as a way of preventing diabetes. If, as I said earlier from the beginning of the lecture, if you avoid putting raw sugar in your diet because you want to prevent diabetes, but you still eat your 5 balls of bankun, you still eat the same amount of your kenke that you eat, you are just doing a cost 90 work. You can reduce the sugar that you put in your porridge, in your beverages and stuff. But if you say you want to avoid it just because you want to prevent diabetes, but you still eat your big bowl of fufu, big bowl of kenke and all that, then I mean, there is no logic in that. So yes, yes,
Hello,
Ega.
madam.
Yes, Ega.
Please, taking in kenke and then and banku, which one is, let me use this word, more appropriate? Because I
Taking
just
in what
kenke
and what?
or banku, the two, these two foods, which one is more appropriate? The reason why I'm asking is that when you are preparing kenke, you will not add the cassava, but when you are preparing banku, you will add cassava dough to eat. So
Mm.
which one is more appropriate?
Unless we get to know the glycemic index of the two. Once you know which one has a higher glycemic index, then you would decide which one is appropriate. For me, whenever you ask me about a food that is appropriate, I don't give a comment. If you have observed, there are no good food that I will not say kenke is better or banku is better. But well, from what you are saying, the combination of the cassava with the corn dough will definitely mean that logically the glycemic index of the banku will be a bit higher. But they are all the same. But I will choose kenke over banku if I want to check my glucose level, probably because of the cassava. Yes, Gloria.
Madam,
Hello,
yeah,
madam.
madam, please. So nowadays there are adulteration in so many things. Even the kenke cry, they add kokonte flour to the kenke before preparing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So we can't say kenke is 100% only corn dough. It's only
Okay.
God who will help us now. Mm.
You
Hello,
can prepare
hello,
it in
madam.
your house.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
The reason why I asked is that we went for a program and we were advised to eat kenke more than banku because the kenke you will not add cassava dough to it, but the banku you will add the cassava dough, and we must also prepare it in our homes too. That was that was what we were informed.
Mm, but that one there is true, Hagar, because For me, apart from maybe once a while, that's I don't remember the last time I even bought banku from the outside. Well, maybe I'm not a banku person. I'm more kinky person than a banku person. So that's it has got no health implication, but me picking kitchen banku. So I don't know. So now, as Gloria said, nowadays everything is difficult to eat. So in as much as possible, try to make your home foods. Okay. A high protein diet has always been the norm when diabetes is concerned, but studies have shown that eating too much protein, especially animal protein, may actually cause insulin resistance, a key factor to diabetes. So you have to make sure that your diet do not have a lot of protein, especially the ones that have fat in them. You don't need to take in too much fat. The key is, or ideal meal is a balanced diet for a diabetic person. So once we ask you to plan a meal for a diabetic person, this one with your knowledge in nutrition and health, I know you know it already. The serving size is very important for carbohydrates. You have to make sure that you are serving smaller portions, and then there is a reduction in the amount for them. Then you focus on whole grains and fiber that digest slowly than any other thing. The principle of healthy eating are the same, whether or not an individual is trying to prevent or control diabetes. So if even you don't want to get diabetes, you can start going by this principle and it is good for you. Expensive diabetic and dietetic foods, there are no special benefits with this. So you need to make sure that you eat what is in your locality. Then you choose what you think has low carbohydrate content. Then you eat in moderation. As I always say, it's better you eat in moderation. That is what, whenever I'm advising elderly people who do not have the knowledge about science to understand these things, what I tell them is that why don't you, the thing that you are eating plenty today, that in future they will tell you not to eat again, why don't you eat it small so that you can stretch it all over your lifestyle? It's just like getting your money, your pay, and then you eat, you chop all the salary within the first 10 days. Then the last 20 days you are suffering. Why don't you rather spread the money on the 30 days and feel good? So that has always been my principle. Some people, when they get money, they spend it as no matter how. But I am not that type. I would rather want to spread it on the day so that I will feel comfortable. So I think that is the principle that when I was telling you about giving the children sugar, why would I say I will not give the child sugar? I'll starve the child of sugar now. When she grows and then she realizes that it is sweet, she eat and eat it plenty. But rather, why don't you go on the moderation so that the child will be accustomed to that moderate sugar and grow with it? So these are some of the reasons. Sometimes do the minimum. Sometimes somebody will see you are buying your own food. You know that you this is what you are doing, but they don't understand. Like somebody's, you buy your own food, you buy your own wache. You say you want maybe 7 cedis of wache. You buy 1 egg. You buy maybe wele and 1 fish. The person will be standing there. We happen now better. Oh, Fabi count is and then I won't turn on never count. Is it that is the money that you don't have? No, you know what you are doing, and you know that eating that is enough for you. Don't let people influence you. Sometimes somebody also take you out. It is not your money, so you take all the big tilapia, three sticks of kebab, and you want to chew all. Remember, you have an aim. You have something you are doing. You don't want to overeat. So even if somebody is buying the kebab for you and it is two that you think you've taken some meat within the day already. So if it is two, that is okay. Just take the two and let it be okay. Have that discipline that two is okay. Nobody takes me out and I say it's not my money, so I will chew 5 kebabs, 6 kebabs. No. If depending on the meat level that I've taken within the day, I can decide to even just take one and we are done. One. Because maybe probably during the breakfast, I took something that has protein in it. During lunch, I took probably something with meat or fish. But sometimes when I check the day and then the proteins that I've taken is not too much, then the way will, because I was giving me protein in a shame. So depending on the days and the mood. So you to like do that. Don't take too much. Being diabetic doesn't mean eliminating sugar from one's diet, but it is best to save these sweets for special occasions. So there's nothing like me, I'm diabetic, so I won't take cake, I won't take anything. No, you can save them for special occasion. You can decide not to be eating sugary foods. When it is your birthday, then maybe you get a bite of ice cream or a bite of cake or something. And so last Monday during my birthday, I took a small chocolate cake. That is it, a small chocolate cake for that. Maybe if I would take a cake again, it will be Christmas, because Christmas you have to make cake for the family and you may take some. So a little once in a while occasion. Eating sweets at a meal add extra carbohydrates. So when you are diabetic, those of you who have diabetic husbands, mothers and stuff, sweets are not good for them. So it should be once in a while. Maybe once in a while, mama send a condo ice cream na auto yogurt baako ma na say farm milk baako bi ma na but it shouldn't be a continuous habit. As a result of this, it is better to cut back on other carbohydrate containing foods. So you have to include carbohydrates rich foods, like so some bread, crackers and other things. You have to reduce them. If they will take bread, it should be the whole bread, the one that we call the wheat bread. It should be the whole bread, and they shouldn't really take much. And then they should eat more rice, cereals, whole grain rice, cereals, fruit juices and all that. So they should avoid sweets and all that. So let's look at simple carbohydrates, the difference between simple carbohydrates and then complex carbohydrates. The reason I'm trying to skip is that you've learned that in applied nutrition right now, or nutrition and health, when we talk about the differences between simple carbohydrates and then complex. Simple carbohydrates, they include fruits, some vegetables, which in their natural form offer vitamins. Simple carbohydrates also include processed and refined foods or empty carbohydrates with little nutritional values. So such as the soda, candy, snacks, and all those things, we call them the simple carbohydrates. They are not too good for a diabetic person because, as we said, they release the sugar into the bloodstream quickly. So we don't advise that. We want them to take the complex carbohydrate because they are the slow release carbohydrates. They are found in starchy fruits, legumes, millet, brown rice, and other things. They helps you to feel full for a longer time. So if you eat your fufu, you feel full for a very long time. And then so carbohydrates can be balanced for people with diabetes. So you can eat brown rice, can be eaten instead of white rice. Still cut oats instead of processed cereals, instant oatmeal, whole grain meals, instead of white bread. So as I said, instead of giving the person the normal tea bread, butter bread, you can do the wheat bread, and that. You balance the meals, make sure that the person eats from all the food groups, including veggies. Veggies should be the largest portion of the meal of a diabetic person. The person should eat a lot of veggies. Eating carbohydrates along with protein or little fat helps reduce the impact of blood sugar levels. So you need to do that for them. They should reduce the amount of soda and junk foods that they take, and then they should rather take in more fiber. If the person wants to snack, the person should rather snack on fruits. So you can learn how to maybe hydrate some fruits. Maybe if you have money and then you buy some dehydrators, you can dry some maybe banana, dry some mango, dry some pineapples, so that instead of the person chewing on healthy snacks, they can chew on this dry fruit or healthy nuts like almond nuts and all that. Ti- um ele- Small tiger nuts, small cashew nuts. Those are healthy nuts that they can snack on. Then the most important thing is that they should eat in moderation, and then they should check the portion sizes, which we have done. So that is that about diabetes. The high blood pressure too is there. When your systolic is above 120 and your diastolic is above 80, 90, then we are saying that you have what? Diabetes. When there is force against the arterial walls, when the blood pumps with pressure. So this one we've done it. So I'm just skipping through. But if you want to ask a question, then you chip it in. So one of the things about high blood pressure control is that you need to maintain healthy weight, because when there's somebody has given her phone to the son, check before he shows us what we don't want to see. You should maintain healthy weight. Be physically active, because hypertension is all about, if not for those ones that are caused by maybe a lot of stress hormones and other things, most of the health diet related ones are as a result of fat accumulation. So we need to be physically active so that we will burn excess fat and all that. We should follow a healthy eating plan, which includes low in sodium diet. So once you are diabetic, you should start reducing your sodium levels. If you drink alcohol, you do that in moderation, or you can stop. You can stop. If you can stop, stop. If you can't, then you do maybe once in a while, occasional abuser. If you have high blood pressure, alcohol is not so good. If you have high blood pressure and you need to take your medication as directed. So this is the normal BP 120/80, and then we need to check on that. Then the eating approach for diabetes is what we call the DASH diet. I hope you've heard of it before. DASH diet. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. What is it about and what is in the DASH diet? Yes, somebody should talk about it. Then we are done. Just these two slides, then we are done. DASH diet. What is in the DASH diet? What is the DASH diet about? Has any of you heard it before? Oh, the way you are quiet means you've not heard it before. So the DASH diet, DASH, the full meaning of DASH is dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Dietary approaches, and that one, it follows a healthy guideline. And the main thing is that it limits the intake of saturated fat and cholesterol. If you follow the DASH diet plan, it just says that limits the intake of saturated fat and cholesterol. It focuses on increasing the intake of foods that are rich in nutrients. That will help to lower blood pressure and maintain minerals like potassium and the rest. It includes a lot of fiber in your diet, and then reduce sodium intake so that you maintain a normal blood pressure. So this is the readings. If your blood pressure is normal, it is 120 for the systolic, and less than 80 for the diastolic. So you should just, and you know this from nutrition and health. Pre hypertension systolic. When you are about to get hypertension, this is what the reading goes. And when you are hypertensive, it is 130, 140 or higher. So what is in the DASH diet? This is what you should know. The DASH eating diet says that we should, it has this benefits such as low density lipoprotein, that is the bad cholesterol. And so we should rather eat foods that contains the high density lipoprotein. Don't confuse the fact that it says low density lipoprotein means it will rather be good. Here it is the opposite. Low density lipoprotein is bad cholesterol. So the DASH diet says we should reduce it. So a typical meal recommendation for people with hypertension should include the following. Grains should be 6 to 8 servings. Vegetables should be 4 to 5 servings. Free fat or low fat should be 2 to 3 servings. So you see the fat is very low here. Milk and milk products, lean meat should be 6 servings or less. The thing is saying that it is lean meat, meaning without fat. Poultry, fish and nuts and legumes should be 5 servings or less. Fats and oils, sweet and other sugars should be reduced. The DASH diet eating plan shows below. You have to eat a 2,000 caloric diet a day if you have hypertension. But with that, you should still check your BMR, like what we did yesterday at Applied Nutrition. You should check your activity level, your age before. Maybe you may not need all the 2,000. The number of daily servings in a food group may vary from this limit depending on your caloric intake. This chart can be used to plan menu. Since eggs are high in cholesterol, intake of the yolk must be limited to no more than 4 per week. 2 egg whites have the same protein content as 1 ounce of meat. So they're saying that because we want to limit cholesterol, if you are a diabetic, if you are cooking for a diabetic person, you have to make sure that they limit their yolk intake. So you can give the person maybe 2 egg whites, or you limit the amount of eggs that they will eat in a week. So in a week, if you eat four eggs, you can limit it. So don't eat more than 4 eggs per week. That is what the DASH diet is saying. Fat content changes serving amount of fat and oil. So change the amount. For example, 1 tablespoon of regular salad dressing equals 1 serving. So if you take 1 tablespoon, that is 1 serving. Remember, they are saying that for your fat, you should take 2 to 3 servings. So when you have hypertension, we need to decrease our fat intake gradually. The DASH diet is rich in fruits and vegetables, which are naturally lower in sodium than many other foods. So you should eat more fruits and vegetables here. And then you should consume less salt. So now let's look at the salt that you are supposed to take. In the DASH eating plan, you need to eat 2,300 milligram of sodium per day. It is ideal to start with. Then you further lower it to 1,500 milligram per day. So you can convert the 1,000 milligram to grams and then to teaspoons. Then you know the number of teaspoons of salt that you are supposed to take. You should do this conversion. Then the DASH eating plan also emphasizes cooking. Yes.
Please, with this, the last time I was reading about it, I tried to convert it to teaspoon, and then 2,300 is like, is it quarter of teaspoon? It's quarter of teaspoon. When I did the conversion,
it should be like a teaspoon. You see, for the hypertension, it doesn't really go with salt at all. So when you do the conversion, then you know that when they say stop salt in hypertension, it actually means stop salt in hypertension. So the DASH diet also, yes, Feka.
Then please, I have a question. My question is, I've seen most people who are suffering from diabetes and the same time high blood pressure. Why is it that it's usually combined like that?
Mm-hmm. They go hand in hand. They are like brothers and sisters. I think when we were doing nutrition and health, we explained that who can explain why the other goes with the other? Why are they moving together? Especially when you have diabetes, the probability of getting the pressure is higher than when you have the pressure, you going to the diabetes. Okay, that's food for thought. That is an assignment to go and read. That's food for thought. So they're saying that eat fruits and vegetables a lot, especially the ones that contain potassium. Which fruits contains a lot of potassium? Common fruit that has a lot of potassium in it that you know.
Madam, please, banana.
Banana, good. Good.
Coconut is there.
Banana is good. So we are saying that the form of potassium may help reduce the risk of kidney stones and bone loss. While soft substitutes containing potassium are sometimes needed by a person on drug therapy and other stuff. So this is what we need to know about diabetes and hypertension. I quickly brushed through it because we have done them in nutrition and health and all the other stages. So take your time, read through. Don't say there will be no question. There will be question, but I'm just trying to say that because you have planned a meal for a diabetic person already in Adobia Asare Sarah, you must be an Equiapim person. Yes. Do you have something to say? Okay. If you have no questions, I am done with the whole lecture. Uh, if there are no questions, we are done. I wish you all the best for your exams and your quizzes. Read it, be open for application questions, how you do something, why we do something, and then we plan a meal for people that are one of the people that are in the life stages that we talked about in unit 6. And you give reasons, you justify why you are adding the food that you are adding for them. So that's about meal planning. If there are no questions, we call it a day so that I prepared to go to campus for my other class. Any question? Any question? No question. Then we are done for the semester. I wish you all the best in your exam. I wish you all the best in your graduation. If I don't see you on your graduation, congratulations in advance. Maybe I may not see you. Bye bye.
Thank you, madam.
God bless you, madam.
When the graduation date comes, we will call you, madam.